had I think, I think we were matching Pobsy and them for the most part in the wet, but when it started drying out, they just fucking flew away.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 3 of the OOR Simrigs Sprint Series at one of the greatest racetracks in the world, Kyalami in South Africa. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight for Split Yellow, it is John Pierre Sinicus. How are you, Peach?
I'm very well, thanks. At my technically home track, I guess. I lived only about 70 kilometers away from this when we were living in South Africa, so it is a phenomenal track, makes for some really good tight racing, and qualifying is always super close here, so really looking forward to get going again after a week off last week.
Yes, should be a lot of fun. Of course, we did have a big event happen on Saturday of the Silverstone 6 hour. It was quite an enjoyable event, that one.
Yeah, it was fantastic with the very wet start, about 4 hours or so in the rain, and then 2 hours of sort of, or about 30 minutes of mixed conditions, and then a little bit of dry, and it was really exciting. So I'm hoping we can get some of that sort of mixed conditions in some of those races today. Kyalami in the wet is certainly a lot of fun, and it definitely will spice things up a little bit.
Kyalami in general is just a lot of fun. I find to drive. Maybe not as much to race around, but can certainly have some fun around here.
Yeah, not so much in the McLaren I found in the last week. Unfortunately, I've as much as I love this track, the McLaren is a little bit of a struggle to get pace out of here. But we'll see quite a few of the big names in the BMWs and the Ferraris and some of the Lamborghinis, Audis, Mercedeses should be up near the pointy end. This is quite a competitive split as well. So I think there's a couple of the championship competitors that are missing out this week. So we could see a bit of a shake-up as well in the championship standings.
Very well could. We do still see a few of our pros here of McDonald, Burrs and Rose, but we do have a slight change up of the way that the classes work, I believe, for starting with this round.
Yeah, correct. It's matching what we did in the Enduro, but the classes have been shifted around a little bit. So your pros are still your pros with the white badge, and they're then followed by the silver class, which is then followed by the pro-ams and the ams, which will be your sort of rookies who step up to sprints and drivers who are unclassified as of yet in OR racing. But yeah, it makes it a little bit more exciting. There's a little bit more to play for throughout the field, more classes to compete in. If you're one of those drivers who's always been just on the fringes of sort of the class behind or something, you can now actually compete at the pointy end of the class below. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the season as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on how that change impacts the season as we go. But looking now at Eric Sciani, who is coming around the final corner now at... I'm not going to try and pronounce that. I don't want to ruin it, especially with a...
Quit.
There we go. Yeah, I don't want to butcher the pronunciations.
I mean, you might as well. It's half the fun. So that's what we do around here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I haven't seen Jack Steele in the server yet. I'm not sure if he's racing, but he is currently the championship leader. I think. Hold on, sorry.
No, Jack Steele
No,
is
he's
not
not.
the championship
Sorry.
leader. It is Mia Rose right now.
Correct. Yeah. Just looking at the wrong one. Miros and Bruno Gallo in P2, and there's only a 4-point difference between the two of them. But Bruno Gallo not racing this week. He is missing out this time around. And then Lucas Burs is in third on 210 points. And then we have Arno Loz, who is our first silver class leader ever in OOR, which is a nice little accomplishment. And he's very closely followed by Eric Scarney, only, 17 points behind. And Steve Davis not too far behind that as well. And then in the Pro-Am class, we have Nathan Atkins leading on 100 points. Brock Godfrey and Lee Perkins tied on 76 points each. And then in the AM class, we have Aidan Payne and Andy Bishop tied on 45 points. And then Joe Williams and John Stockton tied on 31 points each. So I know we're only 2 rounds into the season, but there's already a lot of spice.
Dear,
Whoa!
oh dear.
That's not the line.
That was Adkins coming towards the final corner, and there was a BMW stuck in his way, and he had to take avoiding action. There could be a grid penalty for that one.
Yeah, not the ideal place to be going slowly, as we see Lucas Burs puts that GTR brick into provisional pole there with a 41.0, which is a quick time. I think the track is on optimum, so we should be seeing sort of mid-40s, I would say, especially given the caliber of drivers we have in this field. Miros, Pat Oliver, Los Burs, all of them should be capable of getting into the 40s, I would guess. But yeah, I think we should see the times still drop down a little bit. And unfortunately, it looks as though Brock Godfrey is having some wheel issues, so hopefully he can get those technical issues sorted before the race starts.
Yes, still have just over 8 minutes to go in this qualifying session, so still plenty of time for those issues to be ironed out, hopefully, for Brock Godfrey. And still plenty of time for these drivers to improve too. Yeah, that mid-40, I believe Mia Rose was on a lap before, but invalidate, speaking of invalidation, that is McDonald who's invalidated and will now need to give it another crack.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where invalidating, there's not that many places you can invalidate, but the S's is quite an easy spot to do it. The exit of Sunset and then the exit of the Crocodiles as well. And it's all corners where you really need to sort of push those limits to carry the speed through. As you can see there, the red and white curbing is your limits. So there's a lot that you can use, but it's so easy to go wide. And of course, anybody who's done any laps at Kyalami knows about Cheetah and what it does to a car. So very easy to invalidate there if you just take Cheetah ever so slightly too tight.
The sausage curb cam, the infamous sausage curb cam. As Jack Steele goes to 40.7. That is a nice lap time from the Ferrari driver. Of course, did lead the standings at the end of the first round at Silverstone, but had a very poor showing at Hungaroring.
Yeah, I think he's tried to put Hungaroring in the rearview mirror, not thinking of that too much. Big old moment there from Scania, but he keeps it going. He's well up on his lap time, and this could be a fairly competitive lap time from the newly classified silver driver here in split yellow. He goes P7 with a, I think it's a 41.9 if the pixels will load. I think it's 41.9, seems about correct.
Yeah, that's about a 41.9, which is a very solid time there from Scani. Currently P7, looks to be P3 in class. And here is McDonald. Can he keep it within the bounds of the track this time? We'll have a look what he can do through Cheetah, avoid the sausage on the inside. Now through the final corner. Oh, gets a bit of that inside curve. It's unsettled the car. He's going to lose quite a bit of time on this exit, but what's that going to do to him? Yeah, he can find a little bit of improvement, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that final corner is such a... It looks like such a basic corner, but it's so tricky to get it just right, get on the power at the right time. Take too much of that curb, and as we saw there, it unsettles the car. Take not enough of the curb, and you sort of wash wide a little bit. But Lindsay Muddle there gets a beautiful exit, gains another 2 or 3 tenths on the exit there, and pops up into P6 ahead of Tom McDonald there. Mia Rose on a lap here. She is improving by 2 tenths. That's not going to be enough to unseat Jack Steele at the moment, but she's going to get close. About 1/10 away in that pretty pink BMW there.
Now here is Ben Piper, who's just about 3 tenths up, lost quite a bit out of turn 11 there.
Liu Cup.
Yes.
He does
See
have
how
a Rari ahead of him, not going as quickly as he would have liked. Gains a little bit there through the crocodiles. Now 2 more corners to navigate. Delta stays about the same. His final corner is make or break. You can lose a lot, you can gain a lot. Gets a bit of a wiggle on the exit there. Doesn't really lose anything, but he hasn't gained anything in that final corner. He moves up into P7, and it's so close in that sort of P5 to all the way down to P11 or so. Very close, a little grouping there.
Split Yellow has always had that tight pack. To be fair, I think that's just how it goes across all the splits. You get that really, really tight battle pack in that midfield. It all just seems so tight. Jesse McLean's in that pack at the moment, and he improves by a tenth per second up to P12. So he actually makes that pack even tighter.
There's about 5-6 cars there within 1/10 of each other, so you don't need to improve by much to go up a few spots. As we see, Brock Godfrey has gotten his wheel working and he is doing laps, so that is some good news at least.
You love to see it.
See, George Cook is still in pit lane and hasn't set a valid lap yet. I'm not sure if there's any quali bans. I don't have that information at hand.
Yeah, Kranich and Cook are in the pits at the moment, but still have not set a time, so they'd want to get out pretty quick, provided they are allowed to, of course.
Scani comes around again. Oh, he gains about half a second onto the apex there and then loses all of it again on the exit. So that was a weird little timing glitch there, but he does improve by 3/10 and puts it back into P6. He's just at the head of that really tight little battle pack there. Not too far off of Oliver. He still needs to find about 2 and a little bit tenths there, which is not quite that easy to manage once you're sort of approaching your limit.
Here is Joe Williams. I believe he's currently the fastest out of the AM drivers. Really has a little bit of improvement in hand. Right now, they would get him up a few positions, or maybe just a little deep there. But he's managed to keep it going now into New Cup. Nicely turned in. What's his exit like? It's pretty similar to what he's done on his previous best lap. Now he's going to go through the very fast left-hander at Mineshaft and into the Crocodiles, the tough hairpin right-hander. Gets nicely in onto the apex. Now his exit is pretty solid. He's kept the time about the same now. Tough corner at Jeter, gets it through nicely. Now into the final corner at Ingwe. And he's gained quite a bit of time there. Does he hold it on exit? For the most part, he does. He's about 2/10 up. They'll move him quite a few positions up to P17. So decent showing there from Joe Williams.
Absolutely. It seems as though there's still a little bit more left in that lap if he can just get a proper lap together. There's quite a few corners there where he gained and then lost again. So, but Oliver here, he may be one of the last drivers to have 2 laps in hand if he can get around nice and quick. I think everybody behind him will be on their final lap now as the timer counts down into the final minute. He is up by a 10th. That is not really going to be enough to move him up, but all he needs to gain is like another 200ths, and that should move him ahead of Loz into P5. It looks as though Piper has pipped ahead of Loz and Oliver here into the top 5 there.
Yeah, Piper came across with a nice solid time to move up into P4. Loz will not be improving. He is returned to pit lane. Eddie Oliver right now is just hovering around that 10th improvement, but as you say, he will likely have one more opportunity if he wants to take it.
And if he has enough fuel, which is always the tricky part to manage. Gets a good exit out of the hairpin there. Not good enough though. He loses a little bit as he comes towards Mineshaft, but final 3 corners are very tricky to get right, and also means that if you didn't get it quite right on your best lap, there's always time to find. He finds a little bit on the braking there, but he loses most of it on the exit. Delta is now flashing grey, red and green as he comes around Cheetah. Still about the same. Can he be brave into this final corner? He is brave, but he gets a big old moment, and that's going to compromise the start of his next lap as well. Now, perfectly timed. Nobody else will be able to get a lap. Everybody behind him will be finishing at the end of this lap. Is anybody else improving? Benjamin Piper is up by a tenth and a half.
Yeah, hustling that Audi around through the crocodiles. Now into Kita, keeps it nice and tight the apex. Uses as much of the road as he dares as he watches Mia Rose bin it into the wall. That's very deep. Oh, that's all the time gone. Yep, all the time gone for Benny Piper. That is very, very unfortunate.
A little bit of a distraction there with Mia deciding to split the difference between the pit entry and the rest of the track and just nail the wall. As we're going to get a little replay here of her insta stop, and she goes a little bit wide. That's obviously invalid, and she decides to show her displeasure by yeeting it into a wall and very effectively bringing the BMW to a stop. Patrick Oliver there through uh, turn 5, I think that's barbecue, up into Leeuwkop. Can he get a better exit this time around? He does get a fairly good exit, although previous lap he did lose some as he comes down. The same thing is happening again. Time slowly but surely just sort of dripping away, dripping away. He is still up, and that could still potentially mean he can improve by 1 or 2 positions. Very brave on the brakes into Crocodile there, but that does compromise his exit a little bit. Still up by 10. It's going to be enough for 1 position if he can get these final 2 corners right. Uses all of the track at the exit of Cheetah there. 1 more corner to navigate. Gains a bunch of time again. Can he keep that on the exit? Loses the majority of it. He is still a tenth and a half up. That's going to be enough for P5. He moves ahead of Loz and McDonald there. Great final lap there under pressure from Patrick Oliver.
I don't think there was much between Piper, Oliver, and McDonald at the end there in the times. Like, that is super, super tight. But yeah, it's Jack Steele taking pole position with that 40.7 from Mia Rose, Lucas Spurs, Ben Piper, Patrick Oliver, your top 5. Then McDonald, Loz, Scarney, Herod, and Muddle doing very nicely leading that Pro-Am class battle.
Yeah, and Joe Williams, your lead AM driver there with John Stockton and Douglas Keane completing the top 3 in that class. And as we wait for them to count down, we say hello to everybody in chat. We had Craig Dale in first as usual. Linton Wills asking to see the new AVR liveries, which I'm sure we'll get a good view of at some stage. Hello, Christopher Taylor, Brock Godfrey. Good to see you got a lap together. I didn't actually see where you finished, but at least you were circulating. Mr. Sly saying a fellow Sapphire, and Mr. Fisselfart there saying hello to everybody except myself. I feel excluded. That is very rude. I do not appreciate that.
Also got Corey Sweet coming in there now.
Old man late as usual. He had to get the walker all packed away to sit down nice and comfy. And Mr. Sly saying he's going to be having his first race in OOR on Thursday night. So that is always an exciting moment.
Yeah, wish you the best of luck on that one, Mr. Sly. Sure it will be quite the positive race for you.
And then as we take a look at the setup for the race here today, we do have a 70-minute race with 2 mandatory pit stops for tires. So quite a bit of strategy coming into this. You're looking at sort of 3 slightly extended quali runs basically would probably be the optimal strat depending on where you run. Track conditions are optimum at the start of the race, and it doesn't seem as though we will be having any rain. So we should see some phenomenal pace out of these drivers.
Yes, I mean, we did have plenty of rain at the Silverstone 6 hour for about 4 of the 6 hours, and then the last 2 hours or so was pretty dry, actually, as we take a look now. Yes, we do have the upcoming F123 Legend Series, Season 10. Oh, I am so looking forward to this. It is going to be amazing with Mullock and Kitty back on the comms once again. That starts August 13th. This Sunday, live on Twitch for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We have plenty of action coming your way for that one. It is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, that is quite exciting. Not quite my game. I have tried it out. Can't quite get the hang of it, but it is quite fun to watch, and the racing is always super competitive and quite violent at times, which I quite like. So definitely be sure to tune in on Twitch on Sunday as we get a nice little view here of the new. Is that a new AVR skin? It looks very similar to
Yeah,
the old AVR skin.
it does look slightly different to what there was before, but yes, no, I am very much looking forward to watching Mullock and Kitty back on comms once again. Of course, to all the OGs out there who remember that duo quite fondly. Be very exciting times, very nostalgic times of sorts, almost. But yes, also be nice to just sit back and watch the F1 races unfold rather than have to worry about driving in them yourself as well.
Mol already apologizing in advance. Having never heard Kitty commentate, I am now. You had my curiosity, now you have my attention with the premature apology. So I'll definitely be tuning in on Sunday to see the shenanigans going on there.
Yep, the OG dynamic duos of Moak and Kitty and 42 and Angs, you just can't beat it. You can't beat it. But we do have plenty to worry about tonight. We have quite a bit of racing action from Kyalami tonight for the Simrigs Sprint Series.
Yeah, of course, this is split yellow. Sorry, Alexis there, but we do have split green following that, as we saw McLaren there in pits. I'm not quite sure why that is. It looked like George Cook's car. So maybe he's having some technical difficulties and not able to get the car going or something. We did see him not really put a lap in qualifying. So the car should be going double file now. That is Jack Steele leading the way there with Mia Rose in second. Lucas Burrs P3 with Benjamin Piper alongside him, Patrick Oliver and Tom McDonald, Aaron Laws, Eric Scarney, Matthew Herod, and Lindsay Muddle rounding out the top 10. This is going to be a challenging start for Jack Steele. It's a long, long run down to technically turn 2, and that BMW GTR and the Audi are really going to be putting the pressure on Jack as they go down towards the first real braking zone. And they are coming towards the line. It's usually a bit of a delayed start here. Wait until they get to about the gantry, and we should be going green right about now. Or now. And we are green, and you can already see the GTR having a look there. Mia Rose is already ahead on track, but the Ferrari is showing some good acceleration towards the mid zone there. Lucas Burrs very, very late on the brakes, a little bit too late, and Patrick Oliver sends it up the middle right into the rear end of Mia Rose. I think we very well may have a safety car. We have a bit of a, I don't want to use the word, but it's a bit of an effing car park towards turn 2 there, and Kyalami things have been somewhat repeated.
Yep, the Crowthorne car park strikes back once again, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe just some drivers maybe a little bit too overeager into what really is kind of your proper turn 1. I mean, what you have a little kink at well, it is called the kink, but no, yeah, just maybe a little bit overeager for some drivers. I mean, Lucas Burrs was nearly trying to go for the lead there, but has to sell for second for now. And yeah, unfortunately, Mia Rose got caught up in that our championship leader. But there is plenty of time in this race to fight back, especially at the number of pit stops we have.
And we have seen Mia Rose in the past as well do these comeback drives. Last season at Watkins Glen comes to mind, where she was plumb last and finished in the top 5 after an astonishing drive back through the field. As we get a little replay here, keep your eyes on Patrick Oliver in that beautiful Lamborghini. Although this move is not quite as beautiful, he just goes a little bit deep, a little bit of contact there with Benjamin Piper and right into Mia Rose and a couple of cars behind. Can't really avoid. Most people did fairly well. It looks as though there was a Ferrari. I'm not sure who the Ferrari is who also got involved. Unfortunately, they got turned around and another Ferrari in the background. So about 5 or 6 cars quite heavily affected. But the rest of them got through fairly unscathed there, I would say.
Yes, indeed, but we should expect the race to get back underway imminently. It'll be Jack Steele leading the way once again from Burrs, Loz, Herod, Muddle with a great start. Piper, Scarney, Curry, Icarus, and Pettibridge. So, bit of a shaken up order. could lead to some very interesting racing, but Steele should go after we go past Ingwe at the final corner.
The question is, does he want to go earlier?
Oh,
I don't
no.
think, no, he hasn't gone yet. That is quite smart because he knows that GTR will just eat him up on the straight. I think he has gone now.
Yes, he has, and that was actually very, very smart there, as you said, from Steele. But Burrs is still flying right now in that with the straight line speed, and he's gonna possibly have a look down the inside. Not gonna find any room there. Loz is under pressure from the Mercedes of Herod, who himself has to worry about Lindsay Muddle behind. Well, Herod looks very close to Loz here, but you can't really make much of a move into barbecue. But look at the pace that Burrs has behind Steele. Burrs is going to have a go up the inside. Is he into Sunset? He is, and he gets a bit loose into the corner, and Steele holds it around the outside. That is brilliant racing between those two.
Yeah, absolutely. Big balls there from Burrs, sending it up the inside, and well done to Jack Steele on the outside, keeping it within the limits, and great credit to both of them, giving each other enough space to race cleanly and make it through there. It's not a corner where you go side by side very often and come out with two cars at the other end, but very well done there by both of them. And I think Jack Steele's not going to be in a position to settle down just quite yet. Lucas Burrs will continue piling that pressure on. We've seen what he can do in that GTR, and he's not one to settle down easily if he's behind a car.
Well, yeah, that Nissan just seems to have so much straight line speed around here, and pretty much any track you look at. But oh, there's been an incident back here. That is McLean and Adkins who have gotten caught up in a bit of a scramble there. But out front, Steele is stretched out a little bit of a margin over Burrs, as Piper now gets up the inside of Muddle up into the top 5 for the Audi driver.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Audi compares to the AMG on the straight. Yeah, the AMG is a bit of a weapon on the straight, but the Audi is no slouch. And he seems to have the legs to stay ahead fairly comfortably there. Aaron Laws up ahead is still under all sorts of pressure from Herod. Herod not able to find a way through yet, but he is having a very, very intimate look at the back of that BMW.
Meanwhile, looking further down, Mia Rose is already up to P21 after dropping all the way to the back of the field.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see her finish again. I would say, I mean, we can make this a prediction now, seeing as we have about 65 minutes left. I'm going to say P5 for Mia Rose at the end of the race.
P3.
Ooh, okay.
I think she is going to be driving very angry right now, and will have that little bit of extra pace to call on as a result.
I think Kyalami is one of those tracks where driving angry might not always be the best solution. It's a very tricky track to overtake, so being overly aggressive in some areas could not work in your favor, but if you can pull it off, I mean, P3 is not out of the question.
Well, you've also got the strategy to think about. If she does get stuck in traffic, she can pit and get rid of one of her mandatory stops right now, get herself in the clean air.
Absolutely, as we get a replay here, that's Atkins and Stockton. Jesse McLean not currently in the screen, although he was involved in the incident. So let's see what happens here. Atkins sends it up the inside. McLaren, okay.
Oh, okay. That was, yeah, not on, unfortunately.
Having done about 120 laps at Kyalami the last couple of weeks trying to figure out how to drive the McLaren around here, I can inform you with some confidence that it can't break that late for the hairpin. And I think we just saw a very good visual illustration of that, as it looks as though Jake Faber is all over the back of Aidan Payne here. The Jurassic Park Ferrari there, such a beautiful livery. A little bit of a Ferrari train here, 5 of them in a row. So quite a Ferrari heavy split this as well.
And 4 of those 5 are AM class drivers, being led currently by Stockton, followed by Williams, Payne, Faber, and then, yeah, your Pro-Am of Fisher. I mean, it could be a longer train, but right now you've also got Chris Withers in the middle of it all, and Mia Rose is trying to get involved in this, trying to get up the inside of Lee Perkins. That is a late move there, going into Clubhouse, but she's made it work.
Yeah, this is the thing, she's gonna get frustrated, and the problem is the longer she sits in this train and is not really lapping faster than the leaders, she's falling behind and running into the risk of when she does decide to pull the trigger on a pit stop, that she could potentially be a blue flag. And that would be absolute worst case scenario for her to be behind the leaders, because she would in theory be faster than most of them. And if she would have to give way, that would really put an end to any chance she has at a good result here.
It certainly would, and right now she's trying to get past the Aston Martin of Chris Withers, but he's able to find a lot of space. Would not surprise me if she comes in within the next lap or so. Oh, it looks like one of the Ferraris had just made
Oh,
a little
that's
bit of an error.
okay. I'm not 100% sure how everybody came out of that alive, but that was well avoided there by a couple of drivers.
Yeah, it was Icarus there who had made the mistake.
Did he fly too close to the sun? Sorry, I mean that joke has to come out at some stage. Mia Rose around the outside of turn 2. Chris Withers gives her all the space in the world. That's very clean driving there, and a brave move by her around the outside there.
Yeah, easy as you like. That is a very, very nice move there by Mia Rose. Now, meanwhile, further up, Herod has dropped back from Loz, and now Piper is all over the back of the Mercedes. This is a great race so far from Benjamin Piper.
Especially considering he got involved in that turn 1 incident, got sort of pushed out a little bit wide, lost a couple of positions there to, I think, Loz and Herod, who qualified behind him, but he is fighting back. And he looks as though he does have the pace on Herod, but it's going to be a tricky overtake to pull off. Loz slowly but surely losing touch to Burrs, Burrs slowly but surely losing touch to Jack Steele. So that top 5 sort of spreading out a little bit, but we saw there Piper still piling the pressure on. See Mia Rose here, right on the back of Tom McDonald. He was another driver who got involved in that lap 1 incident, so he's also trying to recover. Currently stuck behind Jake Faber, apologies. Jai Fisher? Sorry, no. Oh, Fisher, apologies. Not Faber, Fisher. As we see Mia try around the outside of McDonald there into Crocodile. She goes off there. Have to be careful about getting those warnings.
Yes, you do, as McDonald bites the bullet and comes into pit lane. So that leaves Mia Rose open to attack Fisher. As Kranich gets 10 seconds for out of position on that one. I reckon we'll start to see quite a few penalties come on through now. Will Mia go for a dive up the inside? Or she's going to try for it. Fisher is aware of it and just slightly closes his door, well within his right to.
Yeah, that would have been the send of the century there. She was quite a distance back there, as you said. We'll see a couple of those penalties coming through, and there's another one for John Stockton. Is she going to go around the outside? No, not quite close enough to get side by side. This is, oh, he touches the curve there. That's going to allow Mia Rose a great run on the exit. Will she be able to go around the outside of Clubhouse? Late on the brakes, he backs out of it. Smart racing there from him, and now she's right onto the back, this time, of Jake Faber.
Yeah, and she is now into the top 15 with Stockton ahead with a 10-second penalty for jumping the start.
Yeah, so the recovery is going strong, as we see McDonald and them have left pit lane, and they have nice clean air, a little bit of a gaggle. It looks like 2 or 3 cars together there. Mia Rose gets a good run coming down towards Mineshaft. Don't want to be too close yet because you want to get that slingshot out of Mineshaft. Down towards Crocodiles is Jake defending it, sort of half-heartedly tries to, but he does leave enough of a gap there to Mia Rose, and she is through up into P14.
Yeah, very solid move. Didn't look overly convincing, but she made it work as Benjamin Piper comes in for an early pit stop. Clearly struggling to get past Herod as Stockton 2 is in. He will be serving a 10-second penalty during this stop.
Yeah, and for those who are new to ACC or tuning in for the first time, you will see next to the driver's name on the leaderboard, there's a little orange square or rectangle with a 2 in it. That is the amount of pit stops that the drivers still have to complete. If you do have a penalty, which will be signified by the little red box next to it, those will be served when you go to perform your pit stop. So most drivers, all the drivers in the 23 at the moment, oh, there we go. Still have 2 stops to perform, and we can see an example there. Paul Greenwich with a 10-second penalty for that out of position on lap 1.
Yes, indeed. Well explained there, Peach. So we look now at Scarney, who is on the back of Lindsay Muddle. Just try and hold on to the back of the Mercedes at this stage. Could possibly shape up for a move. very, very soon, but that Mercedes is quite quick in a straight line, so would need to force a mistake out of Muddle.
Look at that acceleration of the Mercedes out of Leeuwkop there down towards Mineshaft. Just pulls about a tenth out of the Ferrari as they come down towards Crocodiles. Ferrari, quite known for its strong it has very strong engine braking, and it's quite an easy car to try and move up the inside there. You don't want to be touching that grass on the entry to Cheetah there, but Scani nails the exit there and he comes down into Ngwe. Can he get a good run down towards turn 2? He's very close to Muddle there, but I don't think the Ferrari is going to have the legs to get through the Mercedes on the straight. So really going to have to pile the pressure on and potentially, as you said, force a mistake out of Muddle, and that would be really the only way to get through.
As Mia Rose now is flying a 40.6. That is faster than any qualifying time, as Douglas Keane has had an error into what looks to be Crocodiles.
Hopefully not Atkins again too late on the brakes. No,
No.
Atkins what? That's a
No, he
very
just went
weird,
off on his own.
that's a super weird incident.
Yeah, as Paddy Oliver gets 15 seconds for causing that collision with Mia Rose on lap 1. I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I'd
But
say that's quite generous.
Mia Rose, sorry to interrupt there, Pete. Mia
No.
Rose is into the top 10 and has plenty. Oh, there. Okay, Mia Rose with a 10-second penalty.
That's okay. We didn't see that. Maybe it was maybe she didn't hold her brakes, which caused her to hit somebody else. We didn't quite see what caused that, but I think we will get a replay of that soon. That's really going to add some gasoline to the fire that's already been lit under her, and she will be pushing hard as we see Withers on. Who is that ahead there? Sorry, that is Jai Fisher, and Withers gets ahead of him. Will he be able to stick it up there? And then we have Icarus just behind them. Can he try and do something down into Crocodiles? Not quite close enough to have a real look there. And they are settling down. Nobody in the sort of top 5 apart from Piper really decided to pit yet. So be interesting. If you were racing, what would your strategy be? It's 70 minutes. You have 2 pit stops to complete. What do you think would be the optimal strat? Not given no incidents, as we get a replay here.
Yeah, let's see what happened. So we'll have the contact here.
So it looks as though she... Oh, okay, there. She accelerated into the Ferrari. That's fair enough. A little bit impatient there, which is fair enough. But yeah, it makes sense on the penalty as well. But yeah, back to strategy. Oh, and we see Muddle here all over the back of Herod as well. What would your strategy call be if you weren't the Ferrari strategy center?
I'd say I'd probably go for my first pit stop at about the 50-minute mark, then do a half-hour stint, the pit with 20 to go. So do a 20-minute stint, a half-hour stint, and another 20-minute stint to end things off.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind for tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking I would do my 30-minute stint at the beginning, run as long as possible to avoid potentially pitting into any traffic, and then do a 20-20. But it'll be interesting to see what the sort of top 5 drivers here decide. Of course, Piper has done his first pit stop already, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Tire wear, with the amount of time that we have during the stints here, won't really be affecting them. As we see Nathan Atkins there, a drive-through penalty for causing that collision. That is fair enough. It was a bit of a torpedo from about 90 yards back, so he won't be complaining too much about that.
No, there's not a lot that he can rebut on that one. But yeah, no. I guess with your strategy, it depends on if you're in traffic or if you're out in front. If you're out in front, you might as well do your 30-minute stint at the start. If you're in traffic, then you might want to get in a little bit earlier, try and get into some cleaner air. That might be where you do your 30-minute stint. It all depends. But we've got some nice racing here between Withers and Faber. Withers around the outside, if you don't mind it through, what's that, barbecue. That is a very clean move.
Yeah, that's not an easy place to perform that overtake, but great driving by both of them there, as we see Steve Davies getting a 15-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 1 as well. So Stewart's still working through a fair few incidents. I mean, that first lap was quite exciting, I would say, but Withers driving really, really well. He's, what is he up now? Into P12 at the moment. Of course, a couple of drivers who have pitted, but really, really driving well and making easy work of these Ferraris, getting past them with some spectacular moves. See Jai Fisher here with the Milwaukee Racing. That's quite a beautiful livery as well that he has on that Ferrari. Some really creative liveries that we've seen, and for those who are in the Discord and not quite aware or not part of the Discord, firstly, join the Discord. The link should be below as well to get involved. If you want to get involved in racing, if you want to get involved in stewarding, or you can come and jump in the box with us and talk a bunch of crap about racing, which is also fun. That looked like a Honda by Brock Godfrey up the inside there. It's still there, a little bit of a oop there, but nothing too bad. And it's a drag race between a Ferrari and a Honda. I don't think the Ferrari is going to win this at any stage. Although it's actually doing not too badly, but the Honda does have the legs on it. But if you are looking to get your own livery, there is a little segment in the Discord where you can talk to some of the beautiful people that create the liveries in OOR, the likes of Michael Crick, the likes of Thomas Riley, the likes of Tarquin. They are the creators of a lot of these that we see on track, and there's some phenomenal liveries driving around the track.
Certainly is. There's some brilliant artists within the Octane Online Racing community that do, yes, plenty of liveries for ACC, but also a lot of things outside of that as well. So can definitely get some assistance there, even if you want to just if you need a hand making your own livery, you can always get some tips and tricks within the OOR Discord. I mean, it's a thriving community anyway, so a brilliant server to be a part of.
Just make sure that your brain is more operational than mine, because I tried the whole blender thing, and yeah, I very, very quickly sent a message to our livery designer to do it, because I nearly had an aneurysm just looking at all the buttons that I could press.
Blending failed. Accidentally used a real life blender.
Yeah, I just put a bunch of paint into a blender and poured it over the car. It didn't quite come out the way I liked. Although, based on what Ferrex is saying, my liveries are notorious. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I have beautiful liveries.
You know, I think I had one look at the wireframe and the wire mapping for a car, and just went, no, I can't do this, and just messaged one of the many beautiful livery designers in the OOR Discord. Shout out to Parallax.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and all of them have their own sort of little signatures that they do. So if you just find a style you like, and you will get something you're happy with, that is a guarantee. But it looks Piper was behind Riley Price there after the pit stops, and I'm not sure if Piper maybe had a very poor pit stop or what happened there, or if he repaired damage potentially. But he did get ahead of him now, and he's currently the lead car that has completed a pit stop. So must have been the damage repair that slowed him down a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. He was right on the tail of Herod, where Muddle has taken his place now. And I think we're coming up towards sort of the pit window for those lead drivers performing their first pit stop anytime now.
Meanwhile, Mia Rose has gone absolutely flying. She is over 10 seconds ahead of Jared Williams. So right now, that 10-second penalty would not be affecting her position too much. It would affect her time in the race.
Sorry, but there was a car very far off track there, it looked like. No, maybe it was just a figment of my imagination, but it looked as though somebody went very wide at Crocodiles there. Apologies. But we do see Loz and Muddle, as well as Curry and Williams, they're diving to pit. So Loz and Muddle trying to get out of that sort of pressure cooker they were in with Herod in the top 5. Now we should get an indication of roughly where Piper's pit stops has placed him.
Yes, we'll need to keep a very, very, very close eye on that proceedings there. We look now still at Icarus with Godfrey behind Faber at the moment. Godfrey is having a very solid race after Wheel decided to cark it during qualifying, but managed to get it around for some nice laps, and he's up to P8. He's having a very solid time in that Honda.
Yeah, Faber just running a little bit wide on the exit of Barbecue there and losing 2 spots to Godfrey and them. So we get a little replay here of... Okay, so I wasn't imagining things. That's good to know. Oof, okay, that's going to be a fair chunk of damage. What did he do there?
Just seemed to lose it on braking.
That was very, very strange. Maybe too much steering input on the braking or something, but maybe deciding that car is way too broken and returns to garage. Very weird one to see.
Don't blame him. Looks like Loz has come out a long way ahead of Piper on track. Yeah, so Piper's lost a lot of time because Loz is up there in P13, Piper in P20 right now.
I would wait for Kuno's things to update.
No,
Just...
no, that
is
is
that update?
legitimate.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's wow, Piper. What happened during this pit stop phase? How did he
How
lose quite that much time?
how much damage, or either how much damage or how far did he like miss his pit box? That's like there are a lot of questions that need to be answered about that pit stop, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it hasn't gone well. I think we can all agree on that. For Benjamin Piper there, but Arno Loz, he's not going to complain. He's running P13, a lead driver to have performed the pit stops. Jack Faber dive into pit lane as well. Your top 3 still out on track. Jack Steele still leading quite comfortably. That's quite an interesting livery on the Loz car as well. It looks sort of space agey 1970s album cover.
Warping to
Quite,
light speed.
yeah, exactly, something like that. It's quite a creative one. I quite like that. Um, Eric Scarney running P4. He has a very, very angry Mia Rose chasing him down. I think he will dive into pit lane as soon as he sees her within a second, just to not face the wrath of a very fast Mia Rose at the moment. She's already in the top 5, but there's some drivers who have pitted, and he's seen she's 6 seconds behind and decided that's close enough. I will dive into pit lane now.
And Mia comes in as well, so
She will at least add another 10 seconds to that pit stop, so she will still be a little bit behind him, unless he royally screws up that pit stop, which would be quite depressing. But Chad Pefferbridge there dives into pit lane as well. Lindsay Muddle, he is behind Minnie Sanders here. He's quite a distance behind Loz as well, so lost a little bit in the pit stops there, lost about a second or two to Loz through that pit stop phase, and we've discussed it a few times. It's such a tricky thing to get pit stops right in this game. You need to stop directly on the marks. You need to turn off the car before you've stopped. You need to turn on the car before you go, which that sounds pretty obvious, but you know what I mean. So yeah, we're seeing that play out in real time here, how much time you can lose just by slightly muddling up that pit stop.
as we are looking at Muddle right now.
Uh-huh.
Yes. But this is Piper's pit stop. He gets it in nicely. Now, where is his pit box? Just be about here.
Doesn't tell us all too much. I don't think the replay captures being moved, so maybe didn't get moved, or maybe forgot to turn off the car, or whatever it is. He didn't have a good pit stop phase. He is 4 seconds behind Pefferbridge, and probably, I would say, no errors out of pits. Or how did he? I'm very confused by what's going on.
Either way, Mia Rose is now in P15, just behind McDonald, after that 10-second penalty was applied.
And look how much time it's cost us. Eric Scarney there in P7 after completing his pit stop, and he was only 6 seconds ahead of her before the pit stops, and she is now in P15. So yeah, that just shows you how big of an impact that penalty can have on you, especially in a field that's quite as tight as this. She passed Tom McDonald, he dived into the pit lane quite early, and she obviously had a few laps to build that gap, and she's right on him now. So she was flying, but she has to fly again now to try and close the gap again that she would have lost through that penalty.
Indeed. Looking up Padova, who had that 15-second penalty for causing the collision at the race start. He is now behind Gulick.
Adrian Atkins, he has of course served the drive. Stockton goes fairly wide there. I think he was letting Jack Steele through and did so very effectively. And Jack Steele decides he's going to dive into pit lane. Quite an easy pit entry here, but I have seen one or two cars spin on that sort of, especially if you have the very first pit box. It's quite a sharp angle that you need to turn. Not quite as tricky as Laguna Seca, but one of the trickier entries into the initial part of the pit lane there. As we saw another car that looked like car 94 was a yellow flag and then returned to garage. Not sure who that was, but that was another incident.
Meanwhile, the battle for provisional P3, Loz is still ahead of Herod after the stops.
Herod has closed up a little bit though through the pit stops, only half a second behind Loz now, and Scani has jumped muddle as well through the pit stops, so good stuff there by him. Lucas Burrs, will he decide to dive into the pit lane?
Burrs has already done his first stop.
Has he?
Yes, he has.
Oh, okay. What was that, Jake? That looks like some form of a equipment disconnect.
Yep, that is
Something stopped working. That's not nice to see, but very unfortunate.
And speaking of wheel disconnects, Aiden Payne has had his wheel disconnect in pits, so he is now stuck there.
Not where you want to be stuck. Yesterday, while I was practicing, I also hit the pit wall out of frustration after binning it at Cheetah, and I returned to garage directly after I had hit the wall. And when I went back on track, oh, that's Tom McDonald very close to Riley Price there. Mia Rose wants her piece of the pie as well. Little bit of a touch there on Riley Price, but nothing too much in there. That's just a little bit of GT3 racing side by side. And they both get past Riley Price there. Mia Rose still not able to find a way past McDonald, which is quite impressive driving from Tom there. But she is very, very close this time around. But as I was saying, when I turned my car on and I drove out of the pits, the car died. And when I turned it back on again, the McLaren revved to 19,000 RPM.
Oh dear.
And destroyed the engine, which was the first time that I've done that.
What engine? There is no engine anymore.
No, it just became a poof of dust, pretty much. It was it sounded very good at 19,000 RPM, I will say that then.
The only problem is it can only sound that good for a very limited span of time.
Yeah, true. Like, look, it was dynamite in a bottle in terms of its how long it lasted, but definitely something McLaren.
Mia might have a look. It had a little bit, but McDonald in that Ferrari on the brakes is just so good.
Yeah, BMW never really been renowned for its late braking, although it did get a bit of a brake boost recently in one of the BOP updates. But I think the Ferrari still has it beat. But from what I've seen recently, the Audi seems to be the king of the late breakers. Mia Rose got a great exit out of the final corner there. McDonald goes half defensive, parks it in the middle. Can she take it around the outside? We've seen her do it before. Can she do it again? Keeps it there. McDonald gives her the space. She's going to have the inside. They are side by side. They make contact. That was completely unnecessary, but they both keep it facing the right way. Truong tries to get out of the way. Ferrari runs wide. McDonald gets through. Can Mia Rose make it past Pepe Bridge as well? I think he's going to back out, and now Tom McDonald is under pressure from Price behind. Price backs out of it, but he tries a little switchback through Sunset, which isn't easy to do. Can he get alongside? Not quite, and he backs out of it, and Pepe Bridge is going to be under all sorts of pressure from McDonald and Riley Price fairly soon.
And it was a weird one. It seemed Mia didn't have a lot of room on the inside to move anywhere else to avoid that contact with McDonald, so if anything it was probably a bit more on the Ferrari, but again, that's just a little bit of side by side. Again, completely unnecessary, but it happened.
Yeah, nothing much in it. As we see 94, there's a yellow flag again, maybe a wheel connection issue again, unfortunately there for Jake. But yeah, it's just one of those contacts where a little bit of a lack of awareness turning in while the car is still there. Car can't just disappear, but unfortunately for them, McDonald lost a position, Mia Rose gained a position, and nobody spun. So I think it's, all things considered, about as good an outcome as we could have expected based on the impact. But towards the front there, Lucas Burse is a little bit closer than he was before to Jack Steele, and he just took another 10th out of them there. So something to keep an eye on, see if he can close in again. Herod dropping off of Loz a little bit again. Get a slow motion replay
Oh, yep,
of,
that's the curb.
does Muddle save it? Counter steering. He's got it, he's got it, he's got it. Good save there.
Yeah, that is very well done by Muddle. Nearly got himself into a right hold Muddle there, but saved it.
Nice. As Tom McDonald is, as we said, all over Chad Beffybridge here. It looks as though Mia Rose has just cleared some. Whoa, okay, Beffybridge got mind punted there by Tom McDonald, just drove off the track. McDonald isn't going to complain about that. That's one of the easiest moves he's ever performed. I'm not quite sure what Chad was doing there, but he does drop down to P10, which is still an impressive performance so far for the Silver driver.
That'll be P12 after the timing wall updates.
That is also true. I am a moron, forgive me. Damo Icarus here, very close to Chris Withers. Chris Withers, P14 after all the pit stops and stuff like that, so very good first stint from him there. And then just behind these guys, a little bit further down the track, we have Joe Williams and Paul Granage, your lead and drivers, although Paul Granage still has a pit stop to complete and a 10-second penalty, so I would say it's not very much in that battle for the lead there.
No, not exactly, but no, this has been a solid showing by Williams as the AM class leader in this race. He's had a decent amount of pace in that Ferrari. Put it to good use. Could possibly look at a top 15 if he is able to get past at least one of the drivers ahead of him, which would be quite a solid result for Williams.
Of course, we still have 35 minutes of racing to go, so lots of time for incidents to happen or disconnects, as we've seen a couple of them so far. Jai Fisher here, right on the back of Granage in the McLaren, that beautiful Golf McLaren livery. Granage runs wide at the exit of turn 2 there, but he does take the inside for turn 3, up into XK sweep, through to barbecue. And Jai Fisher is putting all kinds of pressure on Granage. Granage so far managing to place the car in the right positions. He will, of course, have to start thinking about performing one of those pit stops, as we are halfway through the race already and he still has 2 of them to complete. Unless he is taking the strategy of just doing a long run and then 2 quick pit stops towards the end. I don't think it's the optimum strategy, but it's certainly an option.
It would certainly be a strategy.
I mean, he's not in a Ferrari, so it wouldn't really make sense for him to make that call. But, you know, stranger things have happened.
Indeed, they have. We see Truon gets 5 seconds for ignoring blue flags.
It's unfortunate. Every time we've seen him so far, he's looked fairly aware of what's going on behind him, but sometimes can get caught out. So we see Eric Scarney right on the back of Herod here. It's going to be a very tricky overtake for him to get done. Okay. Well, that's certainly one way of trying to get an overtake, but we are back to normal service here, and he is still on the back of Herod. Question for the Ferrari driver is, where will you be able to get past that Mercedes? Mercedes is fast in all the right places and then absolutely rapid down the straight, where the Ferrari isn't at its strongest. So he'll be hoping for Herod to make a mistake, or potentially try that little undercut towards the end of the race here. You know, it's 33 minutes remaining. Might be worth diving into pit lane 3 or 4 minutes earlier than you were thinking and trying to get 2 good laps in, maybe get that undercut done on the Mercedes driver ahead.
And he'll certainly be considering it. I mean, yeah, Escani showed quite solid pace throughout the span of this race. Oh, that's a little bit loose there. So Mia Rose is now up into P8 ahead of Curry, and will now be looking to overtake Piper.
And then after that, there is that 10-second gap that she will have to close down to muddle at the moment. So top 5, top 3, I think will be a challenge, but top 5 certainly on the cards here. She is absolutely storming through this field.
Well, if she is able to catch up to Muddle with about 10 minutes to go and overtake, then Scarney, Herod, and Loz are only just up the road.
Yes, but as we know, catching is one thing. Overtaking is a whole different ball game, as we're going to see attempt an overtake on Benjamin Piper in the coming laps. And Piper is a seasoned veteran here in OOR, not an easy driver to overtake. And she gets a great run out of barbecue there towards sunset, not quite close enough. But she is making that already big BMW seem even bigger in the rearview mirror of Piper there. But like I said, seasoned character there. He's not going to get intimidated quite as easily as I say that. He runs a little bit deep at Clubhouse. Will she be able to send it up the inside of the SS? I don't think she's quite close enough. Never mind, she does send it anyway. That's quite rude. Piper, very polite there, lets her through. I don't think he really needed to do that, but it was quite an aggressive move by Rose there.
Aggressive move, but it's ultimately paid off for her. I mean, if she does want to aim for that potential podium, she does have to take all the opportunities she can get. Oops, Scani, Scani, Earth for Scani.
I really hope that's not an actual disconnect for him. That would be heartbreaking.
Oh
He's couldn't.
no!
Yeah, he is
Oh no!
disconnected. That is so unfortunate. He's put in an absolute stellar performance there so far. That is very, very unlucky for him.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Fair enough. F in chat, 100%. Pour one out for the boys. And yeah, that is very unfortunate. He was putting in very, very solid run there. He was running P2 in class, P5 overall. And now he is running outside to go and take a walk around the block and calm down.
Yep, it'll be straight off to the bottle, I reckon.
I think he was already deciding what he was going to put in his shoey after the race, but it's, yeah, unfortunately, no need to dwell on that. The battle here between Peffybridge and Price rages on. Peffybridge drops a little bit behind there. Price is just sort of dropped off a little bit from McDonald there, but sticking close enough to sort of capitalize should anything happen to McDonald, or maybe he has a slow pit stop. But they are the final drivers in the top 10 at the moment. Peffybridge taking a very tight line there into Clubhouse, and a very exciting exit, I would say. Not the optimal line through there, but manages to keep it facing the right direction.
The fun line.
Yeah, the esports line.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, we love seeing the esports line.
Absolutely. It looks as though Burrs has dropped a little bit away from Steele towards the front of the field there. Lars is about 15 seconds behind Burrs. And then Viper has dropped about 2 seconds behind Lars now. So really just doesn't have the pace to stick with Lars in that BMW. Muddle another 4.8 seconds behind that. And then Mia Rose is the next driver in that line, and she is about 9 seconds behind that. So she's taken about a second or so out of it after Scani's disconnection. So 28 minutes remaining. She has about, what is that, 18, 19 seconds to get into the top 4. Yeah, maybe about 20 seconds to P3. So not impossible, but she is going to have to pull something absolutely magical out of the bag to get that done.
It is currently about 15 seconds to P3.
Ah, that's right. Sorry, yeah, 8 plus 5. Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
So she still has time. Oh dear.
Roads?
Where we're
We're
going, we
going.
don't need no roads.
That is very unfortunate for Scotty. I'm sure we'll see him in chat sometime soon. He's not going to be happy about it. Oh, he's back in pits. He's up on the blocks, but he has lost many positions. Is he going back out on track? It looks as though he is committing to it. We join back in with this battle of Withers and Godfrey just ahead of him, Icarus just behind him. Not too many close battles really going on track at the moment. This is about the closest little battle pack we currently have. A real sort of settling down of the field here. Don't usually see that. We usually see little sort of battle packs form throughout the field, but yeah, after about what's that, 40 minutes of racing, everybody has kind of settled down into their own rhythm and just lapping around the beautiful track that is Kyalami.
Yes, it is a wonderful track. There has been considerable talks about there potentially being F1 returning to Kyalami in the future, but a lot of those talks unfortunately have been falling apart. But what that has done is it's kept Spa-Francorchamps on the calendar, which you love to see.
Ooh, I mean, yay! Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen Spa deliver particularly exciting races recently, and my feelings on Spa has been well uh, broadcast, I would say. But Benjamin Piper here is currently the lead driver who has completed both pit stops, although he was quite a distance.
Oh,
Whoa, Jack
Gil.
Steele. Oof. Oh my goodness.
Whoa, that was dramatic. Oh, yep,
React.
that's the curb at Cheetah.
Yep. Had reactions faster than a speeding bullet there from Superman, but he does keep it going and manages to save it. Still does a 42 flat, which is a respectable lap time, especially after an off-road excursion. But that's going to allow Burrs to close that gap down ever so slightly as, oh no, Loz here dives into pit lane from P3, and Herod finally overtakes him. Unfortunately, not quite there yet. He needs to absolutely nail a couple of in laps and then potentially get the overcut done.
Yes, well, he's currently lapping at a 42.2, which is fairly solid, I'd say. But yeah, that mistake from Steele has brought Burrs in closer, currently 1.4 seconds now. So Burrs will have some hope that he can get up to Steele, especially with the speed that Burrs had after between his pit stop and Steele's pit stop. So we'll see when those two come in. And yeah, we'll work things out from there as Loz is now moving in Le Pit Lane.
Okay,
And
so
yeah, comes out very far ahead of
miles ahead. Yeah, I'm still baffled as to what happened to Benny. Maybe he can enlighten us once he finishes the race. But yeah, Loz has done an absolute stellar job here. Just needs to hope that Piper is ahead of McDonald there. Should be well clear by the time they come out. Riley Price still right at the back of McDonald. And Darty pointing out that Greenwich still hasn't stopped. So he's currently running in P17 and he still has 2 pit stops to complete.
Yeah, he's pretty much going to be doing like 2 10-minute stints.
As we see, Price gets a blue flag there. Tom McDonald will be getting one soon as well. Jack Steele after that little oopsie at Cheetah a little bit earlier already, gapping Burrs again. So should be seeing one of the two blink anytime soon and dive into pit lane. Mia Rose now only 5 seconds behind. Ooh.
Godfrey's got 15 seconds for causing a collision on lap 21. Not quite sure what that's for, but I'm sure we'll get a little bit of currents on that. He's had a solid race so far too, Godfrey, currently up in P8, given that, I mean, there has been a few people that have come with stops, but he's made good progress through the field, so he'll be a bit disappointed with that 15-second penalty, I'd suggest.
I can't remember exactly which incident that was. Steele lost about 10 for 2 there through the S's. Blue flag letting him through just in a slightly inopportune moment where he really had to compromise his line. As we see, same blue flag, sort of decide at the very last moment to let Burrs go there and gets out of the way quite nicely. Just a little bit of a weird place to do it, but he does do his best to get out of the way as quickly as possible. And he will be under pressure from Patrick Oliver for P25. Now that is Douglas Keane in the McLaren.
Oh, Scani, I am so sorry for you. He has entered the chat with a very simple K.
Are you okay? Yeah, that is super unfortunate, Scotty. You were putting in an absolutely fantastic performance up until that point. But you could still win the driver of the day. Maybe. I don't know. I think you deserve it. It was a good performance up until then. There's another couple of drivers there. That's Muddle and Curry dive into pit lane. Piper here, right on the back of Perkins. Perkins, of course, still has to perform another pit stop, so this is not really a battle for position, but he is entirely entitled to keep whichever line he decides to stay on.
Indeed, he does. It looks like he's I don't know where he's letting him go or trying to defend the position. So it looks like Pipe will be able to get up the inside pretty easily there, and does so into Crocodiles.
Yeah, Perkins not really putting up too much of a fight there, fortunately. Smart driving there by him as Muddle comes out of pits here. Where is Herod? Is still to perform his pit stop. There's nobody close to Muddle that has performed all their pit stops. I think Loz was the closest driver that he was hoping to maybe be close to, but he is miles ahead.
You know, Loz has put in a hell of a stint so far.
So I guess Muddle's closest competition will be Herod, correct? After the pit stop. I mean, Mia Rose was.
Oh yeah, I'd say it would be Herod or Rose.
I think Rose probably going to be ahead of Muddle by the end of these pit stops. I think that's a
Well,
rather
Herod
safe
was
bet.
right behind Loz before, so realistically he should also be ahead. But you know, the gap between Loz and Model has grown to about 10 seconds, nearly.
See Piper here. This time it is for position. Kuri has completed all his pit stops. Looks as though that Porsche took some damage at some stage during the race. Not sure if he's had time to repair that in a pit stop. But Piper trying around the outside of Leukop should give him a great exit if he can get on the power nice and smoothly there. He certainly does. Audi versus Porsche. I think the Audi does have the speed advantage, although the Porsche is no slouch in its new configuration, but Piper with a great exit out of Mineshafts there, sends it up the inside at Crocodiles. Kuri gives him all kinds of space, but takes a nice wide line. He's still there. That's going to force Piper to take a fairly tight line into Cheetahs, which makes it very easy to get on that curb, but he does get the move done, and he moves up into P13. And how far ahead is the drivers that he will be trying to catch?
11 seconds to Muddle.
Okay, I don't think he's going to have quite enough time to get that done. No disrespect to Benjamin Piper, I know he's a very, very fast driver, but that is a big old gap with only 19 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough ask, I reckon. But still quite a few drivers to come in. Kranich is still yet to make his first pit stop. Does he know that there's 2 pit stops in this race?
I would say so. He's one of those guys who's always reading the settings and the rules. As we see Herod
is in.
pits. So where will Muddle come out and Loz come out in regards to Herod? I think Herod was about 2 seconds behind Loz before the pit stops, or before
Yeah,
Loz.
it was about a second, 2 seconds or so. But we'll keep an eye on it.
You see Loz coming down into Crocodiles. Herod is still stationary. He would want to be starting to move anytime now if he's going to
he's
come out.
moving.
He's stopped. How far down pit lane is he? Loz coming into the final corner. Still not sure how far Herod has to go. I think Loz will be ahead
There is the pit
as
line.
those. So Herod accelerating, Loz is ahead. I think that gap is going to be probably about the same as it was before the pit stop. So great stuff by Loz there through that pit stop phase.
Yeah, no, very well done there by Loz. It's been very quick out there.
And that still puts him in provisional P3 at the moment, although we do still have a Rosie Mia that is chasing down with all might and power. And there's still, what, 17 and a half minutes remaining. She still has to perform a pit stop, and then we will get a real indication of how much work Loz has to do to keep that podium position. I'm not sure if it'll be his first podium, but I feel like it might be close to it as we see Mia Rose finally dives into pit lane, and Tom McDonald gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags.
Yeah, it's typically not a wise thing to be doing.
Yeah, especially when you're feeling like you're running out of position as well. You get frustrated by the cars trying to unlap you, or unlap themselves, but that is not their fault that you are a lap down in most cases, unless they're the car that maybe killed you on lap one, which is a rare occurrence. But maybe he was just holding Jack Steele up a little bit there, and fair call by the stewards for just a little slap on the wrist there to tell him not to stay in the way of the leaders for too long.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, Burrs has made his final pit stops. We'll see when Steele chooses to come in. Burrs did make up quite a bit of time in the pit stop last time around.
Yeah, Steele comes down. Two crocodiles here. Burrs. Where is Burrs? So when will Jack Steele decide to pit? And we see Mia Rose exiting pit. Loz just exiting turn 2. Mia
It's
Rose is
not a
not too
huge
far
gap.
down. No, it's certainly not. Although she will have to deal with Herod first. And he has proven fairly tricky to overtake. So it's doable. Podium is still on, and she's going to be absolutely flying on low fuel, 16 minutes of fuel. Pressure's right in the window by now, and she is going to be absolutely setting some blistering lap times as this race comes to a close.
The gap is just over 6 seconds right now, so she is well within reaching Loz for P3 with 15 minutes to go.
As we see Price here, not too far behind Bridge. Withers just overtook Bridge as well, as the timing screen takes a couple of seconds there to get its work done. But Riley Price will be looking to get past Bridge here. I think he was ahead of... Ooh, that was a big old risky moment there. He was ahead before the pit stops, but Ridge maybe just had a better pit stop. Ooh, very slow on the exit of the SS there. And Price, is he going to try around the outside of the hairpin? Don't think that's a move that the McLaren is going to be making with much ease. And Bridge cuts back ahead of him. Icarus also just pokes his nose into that battle to let them know he's there to benefit from any incidents they may have.
Indeed, he is, but Price now, will we ever go into the Crocodiles? No. Bridge is defending with all his might, and Icarus now could possibly, no, he backs out of it, maybe just a touch. Does not want to be going side by side with Cheetah.
I mean, why not? It seems fun, doesn't it?
It seems fun, but personally I don't like hitting a curb and flying into space.
That's also fair, I guess. So it looks as though everybody has completed their pit stops, apart from Greenwich and Jack Steele. No, Jack Steele has done his pit stop, as Burrs is 1.5 seconds behind him, so gap has remained the same. So it's only Greenwich who has 8.5 minutes left to perform 2 pit stops.
Good luck.
Should start getting to one of them at least in the next lap or so.
But yeah, he also has to factor in that he has a 10-second penalty, so he has 10 seconds less that he can actually like spend to perform pit stops. Yeah, he's got to get that over with pretty soon.
I don't think this is like the Bender strat, but like on steroids, basically. Because normally Bender runs that long for one pit stop, but Greenwich just really extending it, getting that sort of TV time. Ooh, that's deep by Icarus. Closes up right to the back of Price there. Price still unable to find a way past Chad there. Chad doing some fantastic defensive driving so far. I think Price on pace is the faster driver, but Bridge defending very, very well so far.
Yeah, Bridge doing a very solid job right now in defense. But we keep an eye on Kranich, who is, we are hoping, is going to come in for his first stop within the next 2 laps. Preferably this lap, please. Oh dear.
Nope.
Ooh.
Maybe his pit crew are at a barbecue or something, or a braai, as we call it in South Africa.
So that's turn 5, isn't it?
Yes, it still frustrates me that it's called barbecue, because in South Africa it's called a braai, it's not a barbecue. But yeah, one of those things. They can call a corner Ngwe, which nobody can pronounce, but they don't want to call it a braai. As Leon Trong does a good job of getting out of the way there, and Price is still under pressure from Icarus here. Bridge still placing the car. Ooh, look at the closing speed by Icarus there into Sunset. And Price was trying to attack Bridge. Now he's having to defend to the car behind. And these guys are losing touch to Withers ahead. He has cleared off into the distance by about 3 seconds. And oh, it looks as though we might have a battle for the lead towards the closing stages here.
Yeah, Burrs has got a lot of pace, and good news for Aiden Payne. His wheel is finally reconnected, which means he can finally leave the pits.
He may have lost a little bit of time, though.
No. Don't know what you're talking about.
That's fair. That's Kranich. Okay, Kranich is coming around again. He has 5 minutes to do 2 pit stops, or 6 minutes, basically. He needs to come in on this lap. Please come in on this lap.
Please, I am begging you. I am begging you. You must come in. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh. No. Okay. So he's gonna have to do consecutive pit stops.
Yeah, he has to do 2 pit stops in a row. Is there going to be time? With that 10-second penalty, is there going to be enough time for him?
I'm sure there should be, but as long as he crosses the pit line before the pit window closes, he's fine. He doesn't need to complete the pit stop before that. Just needs to get into pit lane before the pit window closes. So,
oh dear. Yeah, he has to come in this lap. He physically must box this lap. And even then,
please.
He's going to be spending like a minute in pit lane. It's gonna be tight, but I think he should just be able to do it.
Paul, this is James. Box now, in, please. The pit lane is on the left, sir. Please make a left turn.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be so tight. What is he doing?
So, Mia Rose sets the fastest lap there. So
Mia is only 7 tenths behind Herod.
Okay, so P3 is still very, very much on the cards. Greenwich coming through Leo Cup. He has 4 minutes remaining. He has to get... He's not going to make it.
No, he will barely make it. He'll make it by the skin of his teeth.
I don't think he will. Okay, he might, but I think he's... I hope he hasn't left us too late.
He's going to make it by the skin of his teeth. Yes!
Yay!
So he is going to have 2 minutes and about 2.5 minutes to get around again and into pit lane. Okay. So he should just have enough time.
Yeah, no, he may have planned it perfectly there, but Herod is under all sorts of pressure from Mia Rose here. And I'm sure that Loz will be sending checks Herod's way just so he can defend as hard as possible. Give Loz a little bit of time to try and run away. It's only 8 minutes remaining. Mia Rose still has to get past Herod and then close that gap to Loz, which I don't think will take too long given the pace she's currently running. But Herod is really going to have to be super, super smart with his defense here. Rose very fast. Fujita, will she send it into the final corner? Not really an overtaking spot. Such a tight, tight corner. And Herod gets it okay exit, but the BMW gets an even better one. Will he go defensive? He needs to go very soon. If he's going to, he does. He's going to give her the outside, but we've seen her perform that move a couple of times so far. BMW has some pretty strong legs down the straight there, but the Mercedes is no slouch. And Herod, has he done enough? He's back ahead, can cut ahead. The rest of the track is very, very tricky to overtake, so he's done enough on this lap so far, but there is still a lot of opportunities for Mia to get through.
This is great defending so far by Herod, but he, in the process of defending, he is actually catching Loz. So he's only got a limited amount of time that he can utilize some pace to defend. Rose tries around the outside again. Oh, that's very, very loose. It's very, very tight between the two of them. Rose trying around the outside of the S's. Oh, that is a brilliant move.
Yeah, that was very well done by Mia there. Aggressive again, but this time she was well ahead by the time the contact was made. And Loz, I would have hoped that would have lasted a little bit longer because he only has about 2 seconds. I think it's a little bit less than 2 seconds of a gap to Mia Rose at the moment as they come across. No, it's exactly 2 seconds. So that was a pretty good guess on the first go there. And he has 6 minutes to do that. So I think Mia Rose, as you said, don't get a drive through.
You don't want to do that. You do not want to be doing that, Mia Rose. Anyways, let's keep an eye on Kranich. He has got a minute left and he's coming through what looks to be mineshaft now, so he has time.
Okay, so he's timed it to perfection.
Just had to give us a heart attack along the way. Meanwhile, out front, Steel is slowly but surely breaking away a touch from Burrs now. And yes, he is making his second stop, so he's just timed it. He has timed it to perfection. Oh dear. Oh.
Actually, it still has 40 seconds left, so he really could have done a bit better. I mean, that's not quite down to the wire. Oh, Riley Price. Oh no, he
That's
didn't
in the
save
wall.
it. That's a wall. Hello, sir. Can't park there, sir. And that is, well, to be honest, that's like the first real victim we've seen of Cheetah today.
That is, yeah, that is the first time we've seen a car go into the wall as a result of the curb at Cheetah, and unfortunately it's Riley Price, the victim.
Oh, Stockton and who's that, Fisher?
Oh,
Well, that certainly annoys Alexis. Jack Steele goes off track. That would be the type of situation where you can get a drive-through by avoiding the incident. As the Stockton with a send up the inside of Fisher. Just sort of non-committal move. Yeah, exactly.
And oh dear, yeah, no, he did not need to go back out onto the racing line there. That was, yeah, no, a bit clumsy there from Stockton.
Didn't really affect Jack Steele's time there. He still did a 41 flat on that lap, so 2/10 quicker than Burst getting through the chaos there. But that just shows you that when you're...
Oh, Burrs, that was loose. That was very, very loose turning there. He's really pushing that Nissan. Now, Truong.
Oh, it's not where you want to let somebody through. It does get out of the way, though, so that's half the battle won. But yeah, just a bit of an awkward place to do it. And Mia Rose is all over the back of Loz. 4 minutes remaining, so what's that, 3 laps? Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet that Mia will be able to get through and get back up into P3 here.
And do remember, she had that 10-second penalty as well, so she's recovered a lot of time.
Yeah, and of course you lose lots of time dealing with traffic and performing overtakes and such, so yeah, she's so much quicker than Loz is at this time. Hopefully she can show some patience. I think she has the pace, she just needs to set up the move nicely. Don't need to force the issue and get yourself a penalty and ruin what has been a fantastic comeback drive here by Mia Rose. Well, Loz goes defensive, so he's not going to let her have it. But I think she's a bit like Thanos, and she's a bit inevitable in this situation here.
Yeah, no, very inevitable. But Loz has gotten quite a good exit out of that corner there. But can he keep defending against Mia? I mean, Mia has been super, super, super fast this race. Like, it's going to be such a tough ask. But with about 2 laps remaining, he's got an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Kyalami is not the easiest track to overtake as we have seen so far, and they're in equal cars. So he shouldn't be too much down on the straight. Will he go defensive? He does sort of halfway commit. Kind of left her a bit of space there. She could have gone for the inside, but she decides to go for the outside. He's earlier on the brakes. And a little bit of an elbow out there is letting her know that this is not going to come quite as easy as she would have wanted it. And he is defending very, very well so far.
This has been brilliant car placement from Loz so far. As Ferox has mentioned in chat, this has been brilliant. And yeah, there will be one more lap after this, as we'll see as Steele is currently on the penultimate lap. We are on the penultimate lap of this race. Oh, Mia, you've got to be careful there. You do not want to be getting a drive through this late on in the race.
And not only that, it's also an easy place for the car to maybe become a little bit unsettled and just keep rotating as well. So the last thing she'd want at the moment is to have an accident. She can stick so close to Loz through the S's there. Will he go defensive into the hairpin? He certainly does. He gives her the outside, but he just places the car in such a way that she can't really get that move, even attempt it around the outside. And can he get a good exit? That's a good exit, not quite as good as the previous lap. Will she be able to try and send it up the inside as they come down towards Crocodiles as Jack Steele starts the final lap? She certainly has a little look. It's a bit of a half committal. It's not really a great move, but she did place the car there, and Loz also not really defending particularly aggressively, and Mia Rose is through into P3. That's been a very good recovery by hers today.
Yeah, no, Loz defended the inside, but left a bit of room up there if Mia wanted to take it, and she did, and she was able to get the move done. So up to P3, and that is a brilliant drive. Brilliant comeback drive from Mia Rose, complete. But
Yeah, absolutely.
out front, it is going to be Jack Steele, who's had a very, very strong race out front. Has been brilliant from Jack Steele, taking pole position and will now take a race win. This has been very, very good driving. Great recovery from a poor round at Hungaroring last time out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's really sort of stamping his authority on what was a poor week last week and saying, I'm better than that, and just proving it out on track. He qualified on pole. Doesn't have the fastest lap because Mia Rose was flying, but he will get the win unless he gets cheated on the final corner or final lap. I want to curse it before he completes the win, but he's done everything right. He had one incident where he got a bit too much curb at Cheetah, and that was about it. The rest of the race, he has been absolutely flawless, and Jack Steele will cross the line to take the win here in split yellow. He will be closely followed by Lucas Burrs in that Nissan GTR. And then a little way down the track, about 25 seconds behind them, we have Mia Rose in that pink BMW. She qualified in P3. She was involved in an incident, or she qualified P2 actually. She was involved in an incident on lap 1, dropped all the way down to about P26, and she has recovered to P3 here and will take the fastest lap for 3 extra points.
You know, this has been a great recovery drive from Mia Rose. And then we'll have Loz in P4 winning the silver class with a brilliant drive. That is outstanding from Loz. Herod rounding out your top 5. Then Muddle, your Pro-Am winner. That is great effort there from Muddle, who qualified there in P10. Piper, who had a lot of promise in this race, but unfortunately has not been able to capitalize on it. We'll find out what happened to him after that first pit stop. Didn't seem like there was a whole lot. So could have just been a bit of damage from that contact on lap 1. McDonald will cross the line P8 on track, but will drop behind Curry because of his 5-second penalty. Curry will take P2 in the Pro-Am class regardless, with Willis in P3. Then Williams, what a drive from him into the top 15, and will be your AM class winner for Split Yellow. This has been very clean, very well executed by the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, and just a shout out there to Bridge as well, taking P2 in the silver class. He's been under all kinds of pressure throughout the race, as we saw, and he managed to keep it on track, get it in P11 overall and P2 in class, as Williams is the final car to cross the line there. And we will get confirmation of your results here for split yellow in the race in the overall class. We had Jack Steele, Lucas Burrs, and Mia Rose as your top three in the pro class. We have Lindsay Muddle, Curry, and Chris Withers as your top three in the pro-ams. In the AM class, we had Joe Williams, John Stockton, and Minnie Sanders. And then in the silver class, which is of course just below the pro class, we have Arno Loz, Chad Beffybridge, and George Cook. George Cook, quiet race. We didn't really see him on track, but still P3 in class, so good performance by him there.
Indeed it was. Well, that was quite an interesting race there for Split Yellow here at Kyalami. We still have one more race to go tonight, and of course we still have plenty to go tomorrow night, as we are currently in qualifying for Split Green, and that will mean I will be passing on the baton to our next load of commentators. And speaking of next load of commentators, we do welcome into the commentary group Sean Bubb now. How are we?
Yeah, not too bad. And yourselves?
Yes, doing very well.
I have stepped away from the steward's box and now going to jump into the commentary box. So there we go.
I was just about to ask, how was the experience in the steward box for that race? It didn't seem to be too bad, considering how last week went.
If we're comparing to last week, this one was a holiday. It was quite enjoyable. A few incidents to look at, but nothing over the top. Some very, very clean driving and some very beautiful overtakes throughout the entire race.
Wonderful one.
Yep, as we are now live here for Split Green, and of course we will have Sean Bubb now, and we're waiting for Patrick Oliver to jump in as well, and then myself and Alexis will jump out as Connor Hind dives into pole position with a 40.9 there, 3/10 clear of Strelnikov. Ferrari top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Hignett sitting at P3. Once again, Hignet's always up the top end of the field in that Ferrari of his. He does enjoy it quite well. As you said, I think Paddy is just stepping out of the car and has run and sprinted over to the steward's box.
Yep, climbed straight up the ladder.
There we go, buddy. How are we? How was the race?
As you might have seen, it was not my best effort, but you know, good practice ahead of Friday night, that's for sure.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate turn one there, but we're going to leave Split Green in the capable hands here of Sean Bubb now and Patrick Oliver, and that's going to do it for myself and Alexis Bowen. Enjoy, guys.
Thanks, team.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got a bit scared of a car that I thought was going up my inside, and I just overshot the apex and gave me a bit of a how's it going? Which,
it does happen, unfortunately. We all do our little whoopsie daisies, as we call them. I mean, it's not what we say at the time, and I'm sure there's lots of words that we would like to say, but we can't reproduce for stream at the moment, but it's fine.
You know what's fair? I probably did say whoopsie daisies once it happened, but you know,
there's a whoopsie daisy.
As a whoopsie daisy. That's going to be our turn for the night.
That sounds like a good plan. Tom Maloney sitting in at P7 currently at the moment. Has always been at the pointy end of Split Green as well, so look out for him to be quite pacey once he gets that McLaren dialed in. I know last night in another race he was very speedy at Spa, so he definitely has that car well and truly under wraps.
Yeah, what's going on with this livery here? Is that a Papega? Is that the full Papega thing going on? It is, and Gingerbreadman. He looks like a businessman.
Oh, Uncle John. Oh, here we go. Good old Kovacs memes. Yes, ask John about the BOP of his cars. He'll love it for sure.
Who's John?
John Sinekas.
Oh, Sinekas, sorry. Yeah. Never mind. As we have Hindi here, also known as Hindy, who has some tenths up his back pocket, and he's going to gain a little bit more out of that hairpin, which I can never nail. I just don't know what it is. The exit is always, I'm all like usually push myself to the exit or too slow to get on the throttle, but he's absolutely on a heater here by the looks of it. Gets on it nice and early, coming up to one of probably the funnest corners on this track when you nail it. Pushes it right to the edge. I think even a little bit on the grass is always fine, and gets it tucked in. And he's going to get close, but still 6.5 minutes to go. That's still a stonking lap.
It's quicker than I can go here. That's a 40.57. So yeah, it's pretty speedy. Jones crosses the lines, jumps up to P10. Very nice lap. It's one of those sections that you have to be absolutely on your limit through, crocodiles, cheetah to really nail that last corner. But if you miss it by a millimeter, then you end up about 800 mile to the left into the wall. But that's fine.
Yeah, it comes up nice and quick, that wall.
It really does. I've done it way too many times to count, to be honest.
And as soon as you hit the apex, then it's too late most of the time.
Yeah, 100%. As Danny does a beautiful time, gaining that was almost 9/10 and jumped up to P8. Beautiful lap, very nice. A 41.7, quicker than I've probably gone.
Quite close from P5 onwards there. There's a little bit of a gap, and then it's all within 6 or 7 tenths. So that's nice to see. As we've got Richardson, they go P16, so that's pretty good. How's everyone managing these new class colours tonight?
If you had seen early on, actually you experienced it firsthand. So how was your class colours initially before?
Yeah. Well, before the restart, they were invisible in the server, so that was interesting. There was we had no numbers for our silver class or livery, so that was exciting. But yeah, it was just a little something I had to change, and I think I like it at the end of the day. I think silver makes a little bit more sense in between pro and pro-am, but I think the full class setups are probably the way to go in the future by the looks of things. As we see some bigger fields and more splits and things, I think it probably makes sense.
Yeah, I think what it's going to sort of its intention to do is probably just close that gap in that pro field, I dare say, to the ones that are just that little bit speedy, or as we call them, the aliens of the fields. They'll keep the pro badge and potentially bring the other ones that are not quite as speedy back into sort of a category where they're racing that side-by-side action with others.
This is
as
what
we see a display of the silver class bug that was very interesting.
I didn't know what they were talking about because I wasn't following a car at the time, but I think his name's George Cook was following me, and the race director's like, George, can you follow Pat and get in that box and see if anything funky happens? And apparently he was getting some sort of interference and things, so
yeah, it was crossing over inside the cockpit as he was driving, so it was actually that golden box, you can see it behind the rear of the car, and the diffuser there was actually going inside the driving window, and that causing all kinds of fun shenanigans for the drivers. So glad we got that sorted out. The hamster got put back on the wheel, running the right direction, and as you can see now, they're all nice and pretty looking again.
Hello, Mitchell.
Oh, Paddy and Sean, how are we going?
Mate, I'm much better now. How are you?
Ah, look, bit sweaty.
Yeah,
you had a bit of a race tonight too, didn't you?
Oh, good old SRO shenanigans.
Fantastic.
I've got some advice for the drivers. So first-hand lesson learnt here: don't hit the cheetah curb.
That's pretty solid advice. I think a lot of people might know of it already. I mean, we were just discussing that we've hit it more times than not hitting it.
Yeah, see, I hit it, and then I went back to, hang on, what's the word? Third last?
Yeah, nice.
Oh,
from
see,
25th?
I can beat that. I pit 3 times tonight, and you're only supposed to pit twice.
Oh,
I pit before the window opened.
Oh,
well,
that's a skill issue on your part.
I was gonna say, to be honest, I think that's a bit of a failure on your part. I'm gonna be honest.
Looking for some support, and I just didn't get it.
Look, I am I feel sorry for you that you did that, but
not sorry enough, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, there is a qualifying on hand right now, and it's pretty close between P6 and P20. There's only 6-7 tenths by the looks of things there. And Bercolini, Damiano, one of our awesome volunteers here, is putting in a stonker of a lap. He's going to go into the 41s if he can nail the exit. That's a nice
Which he
little
does.
Galaxy types
Yeah,
looking
that's
livery.
nice. Yeah.
Y'all remember
And so is,
Galaxy
so is the
types?
lap.
Oh, no, he didn't
Oh.
get
You
Ooh.
Is that
cursed him
curse?
getting the
Is that how that
31.
works?
Yep, that's a curse. 2/1000ths of a second off a 41, but a mega lap as we're on board with Rashuti here, who's 2.5 tenths or 3 tenths. He's proven me wrong again. 4 tenths. I can clearly count by ones. Look at me go.
So
Did
it's
he
funny.
get any more Italian?
Yeah, I was going to say, you look at his livery
No.
and go, now where do you think Rashudi's from? Let's have a think.
Malaysia.
Did he put a
Yeah,
bigger
that's right.
badge on the nose too?
Yes, he could.
There's a really big Lambo symbol in the middle.
Yeah,
As
that's
he's
fine.
getting a bit of a toe here. He
Ooh,
went P4,
41
by
2
the way. That's a
P4.
stonking
Not
lap.
bad. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think off the top of my head from memory, the last 2 races, Rashuti has been in the top 5 for quali across even the doubles race at Hungary last sprint round. So always up the pointy end of the field, Rashuti. Speedy boy.
Yeah, he's always been up there, has Rashuti. He's someone who's looking to get up there. Luke Johnson now, 10th up after the S's. So that's that's 1 or maybe even 2 positions if he can find some more time. He's currently sat in the top 10, under 20 seconds to go. So this will be his last lap to try and find some time that he's just gone and lost. So I've jinxed it again. What's wrong
what
with
are we
us?
supposed to do? Not talk about it?
Yeah, well, there is that. That's a very good point.
No, you can
We're
talk
just doing
about
our
it, just
job.
don't curse it.
Yes.
Talk about it, just don't talk too much about it.
That's right.
That's a lot of
Behind his
steering
back.
lock there. Ooh.
Mine goes P1.
Fastest lap of the out. Has set the benchmark as we've gone into the end of the lobby time. So these are the final laps of the drivers out there at the moment. If you cross the line before that timer, this is your one and only chance to see if you can jump up on that top step. As Maloney goes to P6 with a 41.5.
You take that?
As Smithy, or also known as a Smudge, gets a little bit loose on the exit there. He is going to improve maybe to P11.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well done.
And how do we pronounce this?
Cicluna. It's Cicluna.
Cicluna?
No, Cicluna. The first C is silent, essentially. Cicluna.
But I see it.
You're funny, aren't you?
I've got a couple of tenths up their backside here as they get decently... yes. A good exit, misses the curb there, keeps it on the black stuff, coming up to the last corner, 2 tenths up. Cheeky bit of time there. Gets a good exit, gets a bit loose as well. And they're going to go 12th.
Oh, and we've got the
Oh!
waves. Look out. I'm just going to jump over to chat for a sec. Looking out there, Snapper, and if you're looking at joining in for OOR in any way, shape, or form, feel free to join on to the Discord, and then you can select what roles or what events you might be interested in. Many seasons of.
Hang on. Sorry, I'd like to interrupt.
Go for it.
Dry in 10, everybody.
No, look out. So start of the race is going to be interesting. But yes, check the Discord, jump onto the roles that might be interested. There's a rookie series, there's obviously the sprint series, endurance series, and then also pro series and other events that are all throughout different games that OOR all has to offer. As we see here, Motorsport Australia Sim Magic GT3 Cup is happening on Friday. Get involved, the fastest of the fast. Here we go.
So you're in that one, aren't you?
Negative.
Oh.
I would like to be, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, due to parenting commitments,
So
I
life?
cannot do it. Yes,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
no. What's
Don't
that?
want to join me in the mid pack?
Look, I would, Paddy. I really would, but going and getting my son is more important than sim racing.
Yeah.
Just chuck him in the rig.
Yeah.
He's probably got pretty good patience.
You know what? He's not far off reaching the pedals from the rig itself, so he's probably about 6 months off being able to drive the set, and then he's probably going to get quicker than me, and that's going to make me cry, and then I'll sell it, and then he can never race again.
That's
Oh,
scary.
that's not very nice.
Although I'm going to be a bit personal and shout out to my boy today, who
Shout out.
actually turns 7 So happy
Are you
birthday.
I was
to
funny. I had that thought
Happy
the other day.
birthday, little bub
Well,
man.
hey,
So big man is a little bit bigger man, even though I don't want him to be a big man.
Also, whilst Mia's in the chat, I apologize for the absolute bonking I gave you in turn 1, but you know, it's all right. Onwards and upwards.
Oh, pro now. I like it. What a little champion. Thank you, race control.
Pro-Am now, perfect.
No, isn't it silver now?
It's silver now. Do I get
Silver,
demoted?
silver.
Is that going to happen?
It's getting
No.
double
Yes.
demoted.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get demoted.
Yeah, yeah,
Yay!
much better.
So what is the Ferrari like in the wet? Is it similarly good like as it is in the dry? Kind of
Yes.
thing, or?
Short answer, yes. Do I know how to drive it in the wet? No.
I reckon you underestimate yourself, Sean.
Oh, I was funny. You took the words right out of my mouth, Paddy.
I haven't quite got the grasp on it in the wet yet, I don't think, but I reckon I'd be better if I had the ability at the moment to put more bum in chair time, but life is saying otherwise at the moment. But yeah, no, it's a good car. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, look, life's pretty important these days. Adulting and things, parenting, you know.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And then Mia, yeah, your recovery drive, absolutely insane. Mega overtakes. I don't know how you managed to get so many on the outside of turn 1 and all that kind of thing and through the S's, but they were impressive to watch.
And Mia, to make you feel better, I pitted before the pit window opened, so I did 3 stops. I hope that makes you feel
Nice.
better. And I had a penalty.
Just a little bit of softening the blow there, Paddy, hey?
Yeah.
I hope the stewards took that into consideration.
I'm not going to comment.
Let's have a think.
I basically
one.
gave myself a drive-through. Plus 30 seconds.
I was gonna say, did you actually get a pen? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did. I got 15.
Damn.
Some penalty points coming my way.
Well, we've all done that mistake, haven't we, Hobbsy?
Yeah, look.
Oh, how did?
Yeah, I've made some silly mistakes as of recent. We've all seen them.
So
well,
the
look-
votes are in. Is Connor Hind washed? And 31%
Yeah, I
say
mean-
yes.
Well, technically at the moment he is, if you look at the weather.
Yeah, split grain washed.
Yeah,
Connor's just wet now.
moist. Exactly right.
So,
So who
boys,
was it?
considering... Sorry to interrupt you there,
No,
Paddy.
you go.
We've got 10 minutes of rain. or
Yep.
Clearing.
Yes.
Do you go a really short stint on wets, then switch to dries? It is a wet track, so...
Well,
You think
I'd
you
like
would
to-
push the wets as far as you
Yeah.
can go, right?
Yeah.
Because you won't get as big of advantage on the struggling dries in the wet, but you'll get more advantage on the heating up wets on the drying track. Hopefully that made English.
There were words. We got there in the end. All right, Hobbsy, take it
Yep.
away for split green. I'm going to leave it in your capable hands.
Ooh, thank you, kind sir. Here we are, split green. 1 hour, 10 minutes here at Kyalami, starting off in the rain. Hind on pole, Stronikov joining him on the front row. And his Ferrari, Hignett there. P3, Rashuti sneaking up there. Great lap. P4, Hingston in the M4 P5 as we're about to go green here. Going to see everyone speed away, and we're away now. Green, green, green. That was a good start from both drivers there at the start. I think Stronikov had the better start, but Hind's going to have the inside. Rashuti plays it safe. That's a good move. Oh, bit of a tap there. Hignett needs to really take full advantage of this. Hind's going to come back onto the track right beside Stronikov. Stronikov's going to come past. What's Hignett going to do? He should just sit there. Rashuti. Oh, bit of a tap for the McLaren there. That's Hingston on Maloney, I believe. Coming round through Barbecue now. Reasonably clean first third of the lap, first sector. So nice one for these drivers. Of course, their wets will be getting nice and toasty now, coming through Sunset. A really tough one in the dry, let alone in the wet. So they come round now through tight little deceiving left hander. It really starts to tighten on you, so drivers need to be careful. Hignett's going to be all over the back of Hind here if he's not careful. Jake Brown's not in a good position. Scott Luke Johnson's actually gone off the track and rejoined. That's probably the safest way he could have done it if he'd hit the grass. I reckon he probably would have spun. This is Danny. Danny's going to look to the inside maybe on Brown. Just sticks the nose in there but can't get anything done. Whoa, a bit deep there for the McLaren. That's Smith. I think just gone deep, so Cluner might look to capitalise on that one. Johnson, even better. I say even better. I'm just wrong.
It
But, I mean, Strelnikov has absolutely nailed that, except for that little tap on Hind, I admit. At the start there was a bit hair going, probably for Hind, but overall I think he's really capitalised the best he can. Already a second ahead now. And there's a spin at Crocodiles.
Oh dear, there's a bit of a car park back there, but no need. This little first few laps will just show us who's done a little bit of that wet practice, seeing the brake markers and getting comfy in these conditions, because you know some of these corners are pretty medium to high speed, so you've got to be really careful on your inputs and things like that.
Yeah, light rain now. Looking forward to seeing what the strategy is that the drivers will go. I'd be advising them to push those wets until the track condition amps up towards greasy. Even you could push it on damp, but for anyone who is small brain like me, you'd probably not know that the wet will grain the dry tyres if you go out them too early. So push the wets. There you go. You heard it here first. It is.
Still.
Yes, it is, which means the track might dry a little bit faster than usual. I mean, it is overcast though, so I don't think that's going to be in the driver's favours particularly. I'd give it a good,
extra couple
I
laps,
reckon,
really.
20 minutes before it's greasy at a minimum.
Even then, you'll probably
still see damp at least.
Hold onto them.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very similar representation to the endurance that we had at Silverstone, where it was raining for the first, 3.5 hours or something, and then it just decided to dry up. It was like, it went greasy, and I think our strat was, I think we pushed an extra lap, or 2 laps. I think it was max, and then we came out and there was a decent dry line then, so you've got to be careful when you come in for it, and hopefully they got some interesting pressures in that, because those curbs at the moment with that moist track.
By Honda.
Cargo left.
And
another
another one.
Doing a drift. That is not the ideal line, ladies and gentlemen. Kong definitely wants to take an opportunity. Do not go too wide. Thinks better of it.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He corrects me wrong. Gonna go around the outside of the last corner.
Hang on, the M4. Oh,
Richardson
is having absolutely none of it. Yeah, that's too much gap, in my opinion. Got to be a little bit more aggressive. I do understand it is the wet, but it is for position, so we'll keep going here. I must admit, Bub, now I'm a bit upset about that Silverstone race, because I held the fastest up of the race up until when it dried up.
Well, that's generally what happens. I mean, if there's massive changes. Oh, Jesus. When two become one, or that's just having a bit of a
think of Sim.
So what car does that make? When those two cars make love to each other, what does that give us?
A baby car.
Panzer.
A baby car. Thanks for giving us the obvious.
You're welcome.
Thanks, mate.
Dad mode fully engaged there.
Oh, I've witnessed your dad mode in person. I've seen it.
Can you give us the birds and the bees?
No, it's not going there.
When a bird and a bee like each other. No.
When a Ferrari and a Porsche really love each other, they spin and give each other a kiss.
They spin?
Well, one of them span. I don't know which one, but one of them did.
Out of context, flash.
Ooh, damp already. I might actually eat my own words here. This might dry up quicker than I thought.
It was like a river before the pit entry too. It'd be interesting to see where it went.
It's turned into a pond now, I suspect.
People with brooms just running across the track, brooming it off.
You just need one of those squeegees just to run out there at the pit box, get the squeegee
Zambino?
Or we see a yellow through, is that cheetah?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's airborne. Interesting.
Yeah, nice. That's really good. It's just they've copied me at cheetah
there, Brown.
Oh,
they on to their
Brown's.
first pit stop.
Yeah. That's a bold call. That's really bold. Unless they've spun and got some damage, maybe, but that's a really big call.
The yellow flag there. They might have a party with the curb.
Yep, so that's going to definitely put them back. Although, in saying that, that's probably not the worst ploy. You go out on wets and push them as far as you can. You can use the rubber up a bit, wait for track to go greasy, close to green even, or maybe not that dry, but and then jump on the dries. What's going on here?
So
This might be the
hopefully some
screenshot
context.
replay.
Yeah, so McLaren, curb, M4. What else did it say? Oh, Jesus. I don't think they quite understood the O.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Beyblades.
Okay. Oh, there's
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 baby.
the-
Oh, that
oh.
McLaren was so far inside that Porsche.
that.
That's
I
not
wouldn't
going
want to
well.
be the one that has to pay that repair bill.
No,
I
see,
wouldn't want to be the one that has to steward that.
that is the understeer city, that corner
Yeah.
in the wet. You literally almost have to go in fourth gear just to not get pushed
Yeah,
out.
you have to lift if you're going to hold fifth. That unfortunately, that's a fact. I mean, I'm not smart, but that's just a fact.
I think you're pretty smart, Mitch.
Ah,
You're a smart guy.
In your own right, in your own forte, as we all are. We all have our pros and cons. So we jump up the field here. This is the battle for P12. Lee, oh, this is very tight.
Ooh.
That's a gaggle of a battle.
They all
6
just
cars.
appeared.
As our leader does a 46.3 fastest lap of the race. Probably having a bit of a gap there to Hindy. Shooty P3, Hignett P4, Maloney P5 still at the moment. But Kong, all over the back of this Beamer, wants to get the job done. Let's see what happens coming up in turn 1. Actually, this is actually technically turn 1 now. 'Cause
Yeah.
Pink, if you want to call that a corner. But anyway, into turn 2, not close enough. Ooh, bit of a cross up from the Beamer. Oh,
Yeah.
and player
from
2.
downtown. Our boy Lee just absolutely getting involved here. That was a bit just RKO out of nowhere type stuff.
Yeah, that was gotta be honest, that was not very polite.
So that's a word for it.
Yeah.
I just realised while we were watching that on board, the window wiper for the McLaren is dedicated to the driver's side. Is
It
that
is,
common
yeah.
across every car? It's not.
No.
No.
You learn something every day.
One thing you'll also learn is the windscreen rubber on the Ferrari is really
in the middle.
annoying.
Because it's the smack center of the windscreen.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at that
Absolutely.
again. I'm interested to see. So, okay, sure.
Made it.
Made it, but
Maybe only because they
with
hit
the
the car.
M4 being a wall. Yeah. Now, I'm hoping once the track starts to dry up a bit more, if we can try and spot the time when the drivers should be pitting. I'd be interested to see if we can work that one out. Strelnikov, though, I mean, he's on it. Track's drying. Okay, so it's now going to start getting sunny, so the track's really going to amp up a bit in the next, I reckon, give it 10. I appreciate the Pepe business emoji on the front and the side. I
sides,
appreciate that.
As you can see, the drivers are already hunting for that extra bit of water too.
They are, so those tyres will be on
It's spicy.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to make sure your dries are going to be safe, that kind of business.
Yeah, these wets can go pretty long way into the PSI. The optimum temps you're looking for are sort of between 30 and 31 PSI. If you can keep it mid to low, it's probably ideal. They can go up to around 34, 35 before they potentially, hang on, what's the word, explode. But if you're going to need to push it that far. Yeah, balloon is definitely one way to put it. But if you need to push that far, you've got to do it. You can even, I mean, it could just be me. You can even see the sun starting to come through slightly now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be ramping up this track conditions very soon, probably the next 2-3 laps tops. Oh, getting that curve through sunset might not be the best idea as we go almost 3 wide on exit.
Yeah, that M4 really just blocked the path there of Lee. Just was not able to get anything done there. Lee looks like he's got some damage in the rear too. Let's see how this one plays out. Oh,
Hold your breath.
yep. Everyone just do not panic. Do not panic. Oh, hello. Let's see how this one goes. I'm smelling an inside ear from Lee. Oh, he looked for it, and I reckon Kong's going to hit him. Yep. Oh, a bit of a tap.
And there's another car.
Whoa.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton.
5 wide into a hairpin that can only fit 3
Yeah.
cars. Yep, let's go.
Yeah.
6 of them there.
Okay, let's just keep an eye on these two. Track is definitely drying out. Are they flat? Just. I think they're just flat there. Those wets, I reckon we'll see the track go greasy and I'll give it about 2 laps. And there's Lee.
Oh,
Interesting
Oh,
line.
yeah.
And just going into chat there, John says the tyres for some of the drivers are already at 34 psi.
Right, so what's happened there? Yeah,
Fox.
I reckon
Oh!
this is a bold call from these drivers. I think it's too
Very.
early.
Has gone damp. Could be, yeah, I think you really want to wait for that greasy to come in before going to it, but maybe they're
Yeah.
going to try and jump on a little bit early and hope it gets to that greasy stage as the other ones are left around.
Johnson
knows?
will be the one to look out for to see how they go, because I think they'll be net P1, I guess, of the pitters right now.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. I'm a bit worried. Damp, the curbs are still going to be fairly wet, which I was reckoning is where a fair chunk of the damp's coming from. We did see a couple of puddles coming up through to Crocodiles, so maybe just not much coming from the drivers as of yet. Just going to look at this. Oh, that's a nice livery.
Oh, that's a cool
It's
livery.
pretty moist in the pit lane.
Everyone wants to be in the pit lane, it seems. The party is in the pits.
Would be
That's
the worst conditions for a spectator, honestly.
yeah.
It's so muggy.
Yeah, it's disgusting. This is... Whoa, I'm worried. Oh, these two are going to collect each other on exits. Done the right thing. BMW backed out, even though that was a tight one there. So track's still looking damp. We can see that dry line starting to form. So, I mean, if the drivers think I can get the tyres up, I would have probably pumped those dry... Oh, yeah, there you go. See, and Strelnikov's still on the wet. He's still on the wet.
And
So...
improving.
Yeah, and improving. So the dries maybe are not the play just yet. Maybe these drivers have jumped on too early and they're going to start really
goodbye,
graining those tyres, which is going to be a huge problem come 15, 20 minutes time when they're trying to really push. The tyres will just refuse to go along.
Just got to put a
hitting
shout
it.
out to that camera angle too. That was awesome watching them come down that main straight into turn 2 there. Seeing the different lines, the ones on the wets versus the dries. But yeah, crossover phase probably not there just yet, but that dry line is definitely forming in the second sector. As we recall it, Paddy, the 100 is at 3 kilometers an hour. Rather
Had to bring it up.
I did. I'm sorry, but also not sorry. But I think the track temp's also gone up a few degrees as well.
Yeah, and some of those other front runners have decided to pit. So Hignett, Raschuti, and Hingston, I think they were the ones who were in that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th area. They've pit nice and early now too. So maybe a bold strategy. I don't think we'll see it pay off.
What would you do right now?
Wait for the leader to pit.
Wait for the leader, then copy the situation.
No.
Track has just gone greasy. Can
Yep,
confirm.
so
Track
dries.
greasy. Dries will
That
now
look at
become
dries,
optimal.
maybe. What I'd be doing is just keep an eye on the drivers that, for those that are on wets, keep an eye on the ones that are on the dries. See what their
He's in the pits.
laps are. Yeah. So Strelnikov's in the pits. He knows that it's time.
Ben's in
So
the
does
pit,
Hines.
Maloney's
So,
in.
yep, here's Maloney. Oh, that was... Jesus.
Spicy entry. Thircolini here.
Damiano is going to take P1.
If he
Unless
doesn't
he
go to
can-
the pits.
Do it for the screenshot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. P1 on pace alone.
Let's
as
go,
we
Damiano. Well done.
come down the front straight here.
We never know that. Imagine if Damiano started on dries.
Wow.
That'd be
Judging by his
cool.
fastest lap, I don't think so.
There is a
Okay.
wet thimble there in the tyre. there.
It was a bold call. Gotta be
Yeah, I
bold.
think he's got to come in this lap, or else he's going to just cause himself too much pain. Simple as that. Here comes Strelnikov now. He's on the dries. Hind will be on the dries. Maloney's just about to come out. Crick's going to come out. Raschuti on the dries.
He is going to be racing Hind here.
You know
It's
what?
going to be tweet.
That's Maloney.
Raschuti may actually be on the point here. He only did a lap before as well.
That's fine.
So the tyres will be up to temp now, right as the track's gone greasy. He might be looking a bit spicy here.
Maloney's lost out one spot, I think, or two. Because that's Raschuti and with Hind in front.
Yeah, I think 2.
I don't know who that red car is.
Looks like
Is that
Hignett.
Hignett?
Yep.
when the
So it looks
timing
like
chart
Rashuti
fixes,
may have
yeah.
jumped 2 people.
Yeah, good call there on the strap.
Even Hein was in trouble there, so that's well done from him to keep that one. That was timed probably a bit out of panic more than anything, but it's been pulled off nicely. This blue flag needs to get out of the way pretty promptly, I reckon.
What's our fearless leader going to do? Is doing great. P3, doing a fantastic job in our N class too.
Yeah, he's still yet to pit though, so I reckon he's on the wets and it's just, oh, yep, judging by how that was driving. Even I think that's Yasmin up ahead, so that's going to be a pit, I reckon. They're going to jump in the pits, and I'd be right, and I'd be wrong.
Okay, no los dos. Toot, 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 toot.
That car looks very squirmy at the moment. Maybe,
It does.
yeah, probably not the best idea to stay out there. They would be getting very spicy at the moment. But Hignett definitely on pace at the moment, right on the rear bumper of Rashuti here. Almost couldn't find his name to actually say it because I'm a bit special like that. But it looks like
No.
he's definitely got on the pace straight away, which is good to see. There you go. I wasn't wrong.
You spoke it into existence. That was awesome.
Indeed. Well, I'll take that as the best call I'm probably going to do for the night.
Oh,
But then Johnson goes, I can go one better.
now the only downside here for, I say Hignett, probably more so Hignett, any Ferrari driver, is that it's the slowest car on the straight.
And you can turn that off now.
No, he's chilling. I wonder.
He's not a bonnet cam enjoyer. Is
I
he?
was just about to suggest that. I wonder if he
Don't
is, and he's
think
got
so.
auto wipers on.
Unless we
Can anyone
can't see
confirm?
some sort of spray.
I don't know whether he is a one cam fan or not.
I thought he had triples. I'm fairly sure he has triples. Maybe he just likes it.
Maybe he likes bonnet cam with his triples. Oh, late on the brakes. That's what the Ferrari can do under brakes, but the Lambo just says, no, I'm just going to park it here. That is quite a wide Lambo.
From memory,
that's
the
pretty
Lambo's
well.
very strong here too.
Yes, but it's not the strongest car here.
Not anymore, I don't think.
No.
On the evolution. I just put it on quicker. He knows we're talking about him.
Oh, there you go. Page in chat confirmed Hignett is part of the bonnet cam. And I'm going to put this in hyphens. Master race.
I wouldn't call it master race. Maybe. Ooh. And that's on Greasy. That's a solid effort from behind. Even though I could have sworn that said Stronikov.
No, it did.
It did.
It did,
But
and
then
it
it
changed.
changed
Yeah.
as you were saying it.
Well, still, it's a solid effort. I mean, 43. Oh, wow. Sorry, just.
What did
It's
I miss?
optimum.
Oh, it's
Oh.
hot down in South Africa.
Holy shit, that's insane.
Between laps, they've got people running out with fans and leaf blowers to blow the water off, I swear.
They must do.
I told you they got the big squeegees out. And they just keep, siphoning it off as Hignett
Sponge on
wants
it.
to go around the outside of Sunset. Bold move. Looks like it's gone wide, but has a bit of a poke up the inside. Actually
Oh,
gets the
Done there
job
from him.
done. Very
yeah, that
impressive.
was really well held there by Rashuti. I thought that he might have been a bit more, a bit less generous. Sorry, there with the room. He gave him just enough, but I reckon there was a little bit more there to put the pressure on Hignett if he really wanted to. But nicely done. You'll probably see Hignett scamper away pretty quickly.
Did I just see an amateur get the fastest lap? Is that the first
You
time
did.
I've seen an amateur with the fastest lap? Surely.
Yes.
That's awesome. Good on you, Jelandi.
Has gone
I'll
out there
smash
at the peak moment to get the optimum line for his lap.
Stop the race. Well, you
The
know,
cam,
they'll get
stop
the
it right
screenshot.
Oh,
No,
look at
don't
Hindi
point
here.
that out.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that.
Oh, it's gone.
And it's going to be gone again.
Wow, they're
Then-
trading blows, these two. Good on them.
Yeah.
Is it enough, we think?
It's a tough one.
Tough call. We'll know in about 30 minutes' time whether there's any more rain coming or not, because
Yeah.
who knows. And then if the tyres go to absolute rubbish, then another stop. But it looks like Hindy here is going to be definitely putting the right foot flat to the floor. Try and close that gap down.
It was short lived.
MVP.
August 9th to August 9th.
Yeah.
Can we get the exact timestamp too and see how long it was?
9:42 to
Very well.
9:43.
I'll take it. Why not?
Send him a plaque, Bo. So,
Oh, sorry, go Paddy.
I was going to say, instead of triples, effectively, he just has the same screen on each screen.
Oh, could you imagine that? My brain would not be able to compute
It'd
that.
be like a fly.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, that car's gone.
Exit stage left. Was that Cheetah having another victim, was it? As we start to see the first lot of penalties. Kick through for a collision.
Penalties.
15 seconds for being a bit naughty.
Naughty, naughty. Yeah.
Here it goes.
That is speed.
Ka-chow.
Hey, thank you. Oh, Mad Dog, why would you suggest
hurts.
such a thing?
Oh,
A triples set up as portraits. Ouch.
I think that is
just
my
ouch.
worst nightmare.
And the borders of the monitor are way thicker too.
Yeah.
I like they're the old school triples. So you got like that 1 centimeter bezel around it on each one.
Oh.
Oh, unlucky.
They're portrait, but they're like on top of each other, so it's like straight. It's like a horizontal triple. Instead.
You're a disgrace.
I mean vertical triples, not horizontal.
Yeah, well done, well done.
You can see the roof of the car just for immersion.
Ooh. More penalties. Slap on the wrist.
Yeah, Stewart's doing the tough job as
Steward
always here.
Sorry, can I... 2 seconds.
2 secs, Ted. Yep.
Light rain in 30.
Oh, there you go. I told you the rain might be coming back.
We're
I am
speaking everything
gonna
to exist.
Is it going to be an ACC meme where it actually just disappears?
Look, there's a fair chance, but at the moment, I am God calling these things, just wishing and willing things to happen in this race.
What else do we want to happen? Someone say something funny.
News just in. There's news. Thank you, race control.
Will we see a car on its roof?
Oh, Connor is
Fine.
stamped his authority again and said no. Purple lap is mine with a 41.1. That is speedy as hell. I think it's actually about half a second quicker than I've ever gone, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
What was
not
that?
slow around here, the Ferrari.
No, it's... having seen the race this evening, it's probably the middle ground. It's probably smack bang in the middle of the rest of the cars. Overall, that is.
What is your recommended choice then, Mr. Hobbs?
Wow. If you want the fastest car around here, pick the Merc.
A Mercedes.
Yeah,
Got to come
Mercedes.
back this update, I'm pretty sure, the Merc. On board here with Eric Satria of M92 Motorsports, doing an outstanding job in P3 in the amateur class, chasing the back of, I'm going to say, probably the only Honda in Sprint Series at the moment. One of few. Julian Gray. One of our up-and-coming groups of drivers here. Julian, very fascinated in how everything works and loves getting deep into the details of ACC and driving and techniques and that kind of thing. So it's good to see him out in track, right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a good
great
ride.
stuff. Gold star for you.
I tried my best.
And that's all we can ask for.
So 23 ambient and 30 degrees on track as Hein does a 41.1. It's a very fast lap indeed, especially in these conditions. I mean, you can't really... I reckon you'd be on about 50 litres of fuel to go for halfer. which I know it sounds not like a lot. It doesn't sound like a whole lot. It's because it's not, but the Ferrari can do that.
So that's because it runs on the smell of fumes.
It does. It does run on the smell of fumes. Just to give you a bit of an idea, over an hour period, the Ferrari will need 92 litres, including a formation lap. Whereas something like, I can't remember the car, I think the M4, or one of the other, it might be the M4 or the Porsche, one of the two, without a formation lap, requires 101 litres.
Oh, there you go, Paddy. You were
Upset.
not wrong.
Whoa,
4
hey.
Honda
There you go.
drivers over the 6 splits.
It's not like it used to be the Honda. She's changed.
Still has a soft spot in your heart, though, Paddy.
Oh, just the good old days of Bathurst and the old Honda. Fond memories. Oh, and I won my first race around here with the Honda too. So, you know, what a special.
Oh,
spot
we
for
all
it.
remember that. I think I commentated that one. I remember that.
Probably that's where the effing car park clip comes from. That was the race.
It does.
I
My
missed it.
favourite saying.
Good times.
Oh, Dennis has redeemed the purple lap and said, sorry, Connor, going to take that off your hands. I think
Yeah,
that's
he's
only by about 400ths of a second, but still, it's mine now. Thank you very much. As we go a little bit further back in the field, it's P21, Victor Cook, and versing Mike Crick here. Two very well-known drivers in OOR. They've been around for a fair few seasons here. Going into sunset.
A lot of drivers that have been around for multiple seasons now.
Yeah.
Getting old.
It's like you, Paddy.
Well, getting
Okay.
old or being around for a few
No,
seasons?
being around for a few seasons. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh dear, Victor's exited stage left.
I dare say that was assisted.
Overcooked it.
Wow. Wow. And I thought I was one of the dad here.
That felt good.
It felt good. Yes, a good dad joke. Just it gives you that little bit of joy when you hear everyone else die inside a little bit. You're like, yeah, I did well.
Yeah, that was good.
Rick just didn't want to accelerate.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Crick on wet?
He's
No,
definitely
he can't be.
struggling
'Cause
in
he's
that Nissan
fit.
though.
So why is he struggling? What's?
Can we have a compound check?
That wasn't blue flag or anything either, was it?
No, I don't know what. So this was Cook. Remember racing with Victor Cook a few seasons ago. Oh, he got tapped
Little boot.
in the wall. He's a very nice bloke, Victor Cook. Very good at his driving. Very, very safe and respectful. That's not biased. That's just what I've seen. Dries. Okay, so he's just struggling a bit there in that. Isn't
looked
all
a
of a
bit
sudden it
weird.
went from B? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe had a bit of a malfunction there or something. Oh,
Oh,
that's Julian Gray having a malfunction in the brain.
the
Honda.
Honda says no.
They do make good lawnmowers, so you know maybe he's got a
They
bit
they do.
Can confirm.
confused.
Had a Honda
So
lawnmower
look,
for like
what-
7 years.
What's happened? So he's on the shore. Too much curb. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Too much
oh,
curb.
turn right.
Good
to
save, though.
correct it too.
Yeah, that was great save. But I think he
It
just
worked.
quite have. That could be partly set up too, because I know most cars can usually 98% of the time take that okay.
Oh, interesting.
Now we're in the sky.
Peach has asked, well not asked, or requested I should say. Was that the leader that hit Cook? Was that a blue flag incident, potentially? I mean,
So
it did look like
confused.
a similar...
If it was a Ferrari, yeah, probably.
Interesting.
Yes, Jonikov. Ooh. I saw a blue Ferrari, but I couldn't remember who had a blue Ferrari.
Or did
Someone.
he hit Julian?
Yeah, no, he hit Victor,
Cook.
the Ferrari, the other
Oh,
Ferrari.
I'm so confused.
So yeah, could just keep talking and you'll
Help.
work it out.
I need an adult.
In an adult or adult?
Yep.
And
Ready.
Hignet's done his second stop, so
Ooh,
he
that's
obviously
a-
wanted to get out of traffic
Mhm.
and get
That's
stuck
bold.
I mean,
in. Do we think it'll be wet enough for wets again? I don't think so.
I'm more so concerned about the worn dries in the wet.
They turn into wets, right?
I was going to say, that they will be up to temp though. They will be warm tyres.
That will
which
go
might
out of
help,
temp pretty
but
quickly.
They will drop out, yeah.
Water is not wet.
Had to pit for fuel. There you go. So maybe
that'll
got
do
to
it.
fill up with fuel at the other stop. Oh, a bit of a tap there between Sacher and Greco, I believe. So just a little bit of argy-bargy there. Nothing too severe. Playing on umpire.
Elbows out.
Yeah, it's Paige. That's a good question. Rain for 15 minutes. Yes, it would. Oh.
Don't know what you're talking about, Paige.
No idea. I wonder if ACC was doing some funky stuff. That happened.
I wonder if that was on
out
everyone
most
else's
earlier.
screen.
It would. Yeah, no, it would have
definitely
been. Yep. Yeah, we had that earlier in the race that I was doing. It said wet, and we're like, "Excuse me," and then it disappeared. And we were like, "Ah."
It's a Kunos feature.
It is actually. There will be a 10-minute shower. It maybe.
Is
A
it
sprinkle?
after the race?
No, in between the 10 and the 30-minute bracket.
Oh, that's true.
Ah, interesting.
There's a big gap. It goes 10 minutes and then 20-minute gap.
Yeah,
not
I've never
thinking, are
understood that myself, but sure. Oh, I thought Sacher was about to cause an incident there with Lee. Oh, nice and respectful there. You literally gave Lee no more room than necessary. Strelnikov's just matched his lap again.
He's on the borderline of that 40s.
Oh.
Well done to both drivers, managed to stay
Yep.
on the black stuff there, but turned
never
in, had
mind.
a little bit of a
You
boop,
jinxed it.
unfortunately.
You jinxed it.
I did.
They were doing so well because the BMW gets a little bit pingy sometimes. Dancing under the lag.
Yeah. Although Hucky now up to the hairpin.
Now,
Lambo.
what's rule number 1 in motorsports, gents?
Well, it's blue flag, so we're not.
Don't hit your teammate.
Yeah, don't hit your teammate. That's a good start.
I hit P1 here in endurance. It wasn't.
I wasn't gonna mention it, Sean.
No, you
but
can. You can.
Oh, he's gone down the inside.
I mean, blue flagged, but still, the M4 is actually ahead of the Lambo, but the Lambo's just jumped down the inside there. Knows it's a bit faster, so wants to get a bit of a move on. So that's fair enough.
Orders.
Team orders, yes.
So does this mean we should theoretically, in like 5 minutes, see the light shower symbol at the 10-minute mark?
Probably in 10 minutes.
Probably close to.
It's too big brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, we don't talk about the first rules in Kovacs because we technically don't have rules. Am I right? We just hit each other because that's what we do? I'm not sure.
Friends. So our net leader here, Hignett, coming through Sunset in the Ducati Ferrari. Doing a good job here. Who's he got behind him? Richardson. Leader in the amateur class for Split Green.
Even with that off that Gray had, still holding the bottom step of the amateur podium at the moment. 8 tenths ahead of Yusman here. I probably butchered that name, but that's what I'm going with.
It sounded good to me.
It sounded good.
Yeah, that's what I said, so I'm with you.
Oh, sweet. So we're all on board. I like it.
Yep.
Well, that Honda looked a bit squirmy through there. Probably just that weight shift, as we all know, can catch us out in any type of car. Bit bouncy into the hairpin.
We really should ask all the drivers at the start of the season, just put one word question. How do you pronounce your name?
That's it. That's all we need to know.
That'd
You know
be
what?
too easy.
You know
well,
what though? Back in the day, this is going back 10 years ago. Even though my last name is very simple, even if you explained it to people that you pronounce it a certain way, they still will stuff it up. It's just human in
Shaun.
general.
Yeah, it's Shaun.
It's Shaun.
One button.
Oh my! He sent it. Okay. Ooh.
That was close.
That's going to be possibly speeding.
I think that's going to be speeding because I think it's that first line, is it not?
No, it's the second line where the
The
board
second
is.
line. Ooh, I didn't see the border.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
speeding
that's
button.
Seen
horrible.
Bub later.
Oh, that's just... I feel violated.
Well, you get
Oh,
There you go.
there you
There's
go.
a 40. I feel better now. Well done, Dennis. First one into the 40s.
You needed to stop being violated by being called seen.
Pretty much.
I'm going to rename your contact in my phone to Scene Bub now.
No, please don't.
Seen.
Yes. Yeah. I have seen him, Paddy. I have. So have you.
I have in person.
I know.
A bit different now, Paddy.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
Sean
slight
anymore.
different. You might not recognise me now.
I do.
I reckon I'd recognise you. You still have the beard?
Still do have the beard, yeah.
Yeah, that'll give it away.
No one can spell Malik's name correctly, even when searching on Facebook. Well, that's a bit of a skill issue. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, P's just nail in the coffin. Well done.
Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. That one.
Wait, his first name's not Malik?
Yeah.
Wait, he's got
Yeah,
a second name?
Yeah. Yes. He's actually just Malik Alexander. There you go. That's him.
Odds on school kids spelling it with a K?
I was
Keneal?
going to take the piss out of doing that, but I didn't.
But yeah, getting back to the Kyalami
Oh, yeah,
schedule
there's a
at
race
our hand.
going on, sorry.
Yeah, we don't want to just talk about names for the rest of the night. But Greco here, speaking of names, doing well. Silver class, P14 at the moment. Oh, we see a McLaren go.
Whoa.
Oh, careful on the rejoin, ladies and
Righto,
gentlemen.
big fella.
Easy there, Tiger.
Bonnet team. Ah, that's unfortunate, that team name. It's got to be a giveaway of what view they use.
Oh, and Greco gets a 10-second penalty for causing collision. I didn't see what lap it was, so that's
Is
what
this
I
fun
considered it.
for everyone?
You know what? I used to race like this, and then I realized how wrong I was.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. The only time I think I can race like this is on console.
You have this on console?
No. But
have it
in
on console?
in other games, other sim games, I have used bonnet cam, but ACC I have to
Gran
use.
Turismo.
Yes,
Gran Turismo is chase cam. There you go.
or yeah, bit of chase cam, or Drive Club. If anyone knows Drive Club,
Classic game.
yeah, classic game. Auto Clutch ID. That's a interesting team name. Oh, it's autoclutch.id, you idiot.
Well done.
Wow, that took me a second.
Welcome, Mitchell.
Yeah, well, I'm here now. It's autoclutch.indonesia. That's what it means. Yeah, big brain.
Also, our current leader in the Pro-Am class, sitting P8
Even better.
overall.
Our third class now.
Yeah, whoa, big change. 4-class system now. Pro, Silver, Pro-Am, and Am. Ooh.
And where are you sitting in that 4-tier system there, Hobbsy? Definitely up the top.
Oh, Drive Club.
Drive Club, there it is.
We've all had that.
Good stuff. Yeah, that was Bonnet Cam Central, that game.
There was
actually-
other camera angles.
Yeah,
There's another
yeah.
game on Steam that I can't remember the name of.
Ooh. It's a nice bit of a slide there from Secluna. Where would I put myself up now? Silver, there you go.
Grid Autosport.
Silver.
That was my first sim title. If we can even call it a sim.
Because I think mine was like Project Cars or maybe Forza Horizon or something like that. I don't know whether you can class them as sims.
Racing games, I guess.
I mean, you can go the originals of like Gran Turismo, but
I was going to say, can I count Gran Turismo 1 on my PlayStation 1? Does that count?
sure,
think I
why
had
not?
F1
Fantastic.
on Nintendo 64.
Hey. Oh, look at
Oh, look,
Oh,
there
yeah.
it is. Bringing out the big
stuff
classic.
right there. That's the stuff. Or Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 3? Was
There
it Hot
wasn't a
Pursuit
3, was there? I thought it was just Hot Pursuit.
PS1? Was it Hot Pursuit? I have to check what it is now. I need to find out.
You do that. We'll jump back on board with our race leader. As we also see Ray Smith getting a 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 14. Dennis here still got the fast lap of the race at the moment. Connor sitting just under 6 seconds behind him. Rashudi's still holding onto the bottom step of the provisional podium at the moment. Oh, as we do see our race leader getting 15 seconds for that possible contact on Victor Cook. So at the moment, shuffling with the pit stop, that puts Connor about 9 seconds up the road if they nail their pit stops.
Yeah, that's a huge spanner in the works. So Hinder's going to want to make sure he's dotting all his I's and crossing all his T's and keeping it on the black stuff for their next little pit cycle.
I take back my statement. It's Need for Speed 4 High Stakes on PlayStation 1.
Oh, there you go.
It's got to be like 20 of those Need for Speed games, right?
Oh, it's too many. What
You mean this year,
underrated
or-
game? Yeah, yeah, this year. Oh, someone's. When did Shonikov get a pen? Did I miss something?
About
you sure
30
did?
seconds
We were
ago.
just
30
talking
seconds
about it.
ago. Oh, probably, yeah. I was too
Stop
busy looking up what
Googling Need for
Speed.
Speed.
Oh, look. Leave me alone. I'm special, Paddy. You know that. I mean, 6-second gap to Hind. Can he pull that out before the next pit stop?
I doubt it. He has to pull out 9 seconds in probably, what, call it 10, 15 minutes?
Oh, yes.
Jesus Christ.
There
There's
it is.
another one on that list now too, right? It's called like Unbound or something.
Yeah, Unbound, yeah.
We'll give it a good shout,
Old
though.
list, old
Need for
list.
Speed Underground and Underground 2, I lived in those games.
I had Underground 2 on my school laptop.
Never played any Underground ones. That's probably really depressing, but...
I think Underground 2, from memory, was like the first time they introduced like open world driving around. Like,
Yeah.
so that was pretty groundbreaking at the time, I believe.
Oh, Need for Speed Pro Street on the Nintendo Wii. What a game. Oh, and Nitro.
Julian Gray. That's
Ooh,
not
did he have a
Proposition,
moment
never
there?
mind.
No.
Is that
He has
Strelnikov
dropped
again?
back a little bit, though.
That
It
does
is
look like the race
Strelnikov.
leader.
Yep, that is. He's just having a good old time.
Probably flipped the bird on his way past.
Well, look, at least he gets around that blue flag a little bit safer than the previous efforts. Doesn't want to bank up another one of those red flags next to his name. The time gap at the moment. Oh, actually, Connor has gone into the pits and served his second stop. Just looking at that leaderboard at the moment. So, at the moment, Connor is the man out on track, leading the race provisionally. So 2 stops done. Ben Hignett P2 with his second stop done. Not far behind, but enough of a gap there. Time to put the pedal to the metal, Connor. See how much of a gap you can produce now. You got a little bit of clear track ahead, so you should be right.
Plenty of track indeed. Oh, Sean Muller. It's around the outside of Go.
No, that's got to be Costa there, I reckon.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Costa.
Yep, I'm losing it. I've had a feeling. I've read in my mind that Muller was the McLaren, but that's not true.
Mitchell.exe is not responding.
Yeah, I've still got COVID brain. That must be what's going on.
We come up.
good.
Oh, that's a
Not
huge
how you do it.
drop.
That
He's
is
been playing too
not-
much Need for Speed,
Yep,
and he's
hit.
in.
That's a very smart move indeed.
That's
Yeah,
how
there
you
you
let
go.
them
Rain in
know.
10. Ooh.
that light sprinkle is coming.
He's hit the wall just for good measure.
Interesting.
Our race leader is in. Oh, well, yeah, was race leader. Got that 15 seconds and a tyre change to do now as we jump back to our sole Honda in the field, Julian Gray. Still holding the bottom step of the amateur title at the moment. Oh, our title, amateur badge class. Words are hard. I
Yes.
can get there eventually.
I loved it.
Just one of those moments where the brain just wants to say 14 things, but your mouth just can't produce them at the same time. So it is what it is.
It's a hard skill.
What,
Skills
talking?
today.
Or
Making
English?
Making words, yeah.
Sometimes you try and think as you speak, and then it just goes blah.
I thought that was just me talking generally, actually.
Well, we're all there, I reckon. Look at all these old people in chat.
Wow.
Sorry.
Jesus, Paddy.
Hey, I'm a millennial too. It's okay.
Gonna go for old PS1 games and that. What about the old Colin McRae's?
Oh,
Oh, that's a bit of airtime. done well to actually keep that out of the wall.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yes, the original Colin McRae Dirt Rally on PS1. Oh,
Yes,
I still
sir.
remember one of the cheat codes for that game.
Oh, look
the
out.
Audi Quattro.
You're one of those gamers, Hobbsy.
Yeah, mate.
The,
Wait,
the, the down, the down back
the
left
Audi
X
Sport
triangle.
Quattro Group B, can you? No, it was you named your profile a certain name.
Oh.
Okay, and then it'd be like unlocked or something silly, or and then you go back in there with the Audi Sport Quattro Group B there. There was also
Someone
another
report
rally
Mitchell
game
to the
test.
authorities.
Yeah, report me to the authorities. Go for it.
So here Connor is. It looks like he has got about a quick math of what's going ahead.
Ooh.
Ooh, unlucky.
Oh, ignoring blue
Ignoring blue
flag.
flags, that's fancy. 10 seconds, must be a doozy.
Yeah, he's got about 6 seconds to Dennis at the moment. So,
Ooh.
that's an interesting line. Maybe it was potentially, thought it might have been yielding blue
Yeah.
flag, but no.
That's how you made it look. But that was not the case. So Hind in the hot seat at the moment. Currently P1. Stronikov served that 15-second in the pits. Wow, that was a
Wow, that's
aggressive
scary.
move back across. Holy, even I was worried
What's
there.
going
But
on there?
Hind needs to pull all the stops out here to make sure that Stronikov does not make up that time. I mean, 13, what's that? Just under, over 13 seconds behind. So maybe, maybe there's a chance for Stronikov in the wet if he can keep it more under control than Hind. And Chad is saying that he's not old Pat. So how do you feel?
How am I supposed to know that?
You just meant to know.
Are you offended, Peach? It's unlucky.
Ah,
Yep, okay, he was lying.
right, yeah.
And just to correct you a little bit there, Hobbs, you said it was like 15 seconds. It's only about 7.
Is it?
Between,
Well,
Hind
it was probably
and-
because he'd come out of the pits and the
Correct.
thing hadn't updated. Well, that's worse for Hind then.
It certainly is. You would have been hoping for a bit more of a buffer. I mean, he was only 6 seconds ahead before the pit stop.
Yep.
And then after serving in 15 seconds, has only managed to be 6 seconds behind. So actually managed to gap Hind in that stop as well. So well done to Dennis there.
Fair play, Chad, fair play.
Yeah. Pat is being told by the older generation.
Wait, am I part of that older generation now?
No.
No, not quite.
You're like the
Not
same age
yet.
as me.
No, he's not.
I'm older than you.
Nah, you're like 27.
No.
No.
I
seven
wish.
add 7 onto that and you'd be right.
Oh, okay, I was kidding.
No, you might want to add a bit more than that.
Is it
That's
8?
okay.
Add 8 onto that?
It'd be 36 this year.
What?
You
Yeah.
don't look a day over 26.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I don't
definitely,
remember you being that old.
definitely in the upper 30s now, ladies and gents.
Look, Chad, I don't recommend it to anyone, but
Yeah.
Bunnings livery is awesome.
I mean, it's appropriate because he's representing Bunnings and there's a lot of sausages around this track. So, I mean...
There's only something on his back bonnet there. Can you see that? It says only something.
Oh. Oh, no.
Only fitters.
Yes, Babsy, I
Ah.
can confirm, definitely part of the bad back club, but it's more knee. Left knee's cooked.
Oh, wait, we're matching Bub now. I've got a left knee, no fun, have I?
The words, clearly your specialty there, Paddy.
Yeah. So it's on like super soft now, because if I push it for an hour at like heavy, it's no good.
It's bad.
No dice.
Ouchie.
Oh, that's a lot of track there for Secluna to use. That Porsche's looking a bit spicy. 6.4 Stronikov to Hind now, so he's really ramping this up. Knows he needs to get as close as he can before the rain starts, but pushing those dries, probably going to compromise in the wet, and those tyres are going to grain a silly amount in the wet if they push too hard, so they're going to have to try and just manage this a bit.
Yeah, I think the rain's about 4 minutes away, judging by when we saw that little graphic pop up.
Yep.
So for the last 15 minutes is going to be very interesting. Having that, what the chat was saying, anywhere between a 7 to 10 minute light shower. Yeah, let's see who has the skills to keep the car on the black stuff.
I agree, Chris
Good.
Taylor.
Yeah, well, yes, use all of the truck, yeah. And I'm just going to put it out there, Kyalami's the best truck on the game.
I'm a big Zolda fan.
Do you see, I read about that, and I'm not so sure about that. I think you've got to be pretty insane to like Zolda, I'm just going to say it.
Best track in Melbourne.
Really? Well, hang on. Are you sure? No.
Zolda
Thank
is
you.
actually quite
Wrong.
go.
All wrong.
Mitchell, it's okay to be wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You're just not wrong.
Oh, John, is JC a Zolda enjoyer? Oh dear.
There's another sausage death.
It's happening.
Bunning Snag House. There you go. Oh, Hind is on it, 40.7. Top 3 for sure, no Watkins. I do not mind Watkins. It's not a bad track. Not top 3, though.
Are we still going to do like the 75 billion hours at Brands?
Oh, the
I think
96
that's
years of
coming up this
brands. Yeah, I think that's coming up soon.
Yeah, nice.
Should do a podcast whilst we do it.
Well,
Who's
you'd be
Complaining about BOP podcast.
no, it'd just be Pat complaining about his knee after the first hour.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the 12 hour that did it.
See, now John's wrong there. Oh, that's
God.
older.
That's
Oh
old-
dear.
older.
That's old Zolda.
Old Zolda.
See,
What's
John
Harvey
said
say?
it's hard to look past Silverstone for best track. See, that's where he's wrong, but I am legally obligated to like Silverstone since I've now won there.
I think John's blocked me, so I can't see his chat messages, but
Oh,
I'm
that's
sure
not
they're
very
good.
nice.
Unlucky.
Yes, Kyalami S tier, I agree.
As we're going back here real quick to the race, Benny Hignett,
Ooh.
right on the rear bumper of Danny here.
Danny's got a pit though.
Oh, he does too.
Oh, here's the rain.
Light sprinkles. We're a bit early. I said 15 minutes. We're at 17 minutes remaining, and the sprinkles have started. Still optimum track conditions. Let's
Oh.
see what happens with that.
Don't just. Oh, I'm
Oh,
upset.
okay. Exit stage left. Thanks very much.
That's not
Mia, I've just kind of put it out there. Snetterton being S tier that's actually illegal. Just gonna say. That's all I needed to say. And I want to tell
illegal?
Splendor to pit right now. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't mind something.
You alright?
If anything,
That's up for debate.
Ciclona's kind of just helping behind. Strelnikov.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's a
Anyway.
McLaren! No!
Oh, Jesus
That's a
Christ.
bucket.
No,
Am I right?
Lord.
That is what we call in the business a definite brown flag moment. Ben
If
will
that
be,
had been a
holding
hit
breath.
there, I can picture Mullock screaming. That's what would have happened there.
Get them on the big jobs, I guess.
Oh, we're back to a greasy track. Ooh.
They went from optimum to greasy incredibly fast.
And it went to fast. I did see fast pop up.
Oh, okay, then I am blind. That also comes with being older than both of you.
Yes, it sure
Blind.
does. Although Hignett looks like he's mastering this pretty well at the moment. It's going to go down the inside of Cicluna here. I reckon it's going to make this look pretty easy, and I would be correct. Just beautifully pulled up. Cicluna looked for it, but just can't pull that up on a wet track. So now TC is going to be coming up on all cars, except probably the Ferrari. ABS going up, brake bias going back, ideally, depending on the car. Down into Crocodiles they come now. Let's see how close this was, because I was very scared. Yes, very
The
scared.
internet's done well there.
Yeah, that's way too close for comfort. Just gonna put that out there.
In iRacing, you get sent to the moon if that happens.
Yeah, can confirm Hignett and driving in the wet conditions. That is his playground. And he is very speedy. There you go. The pit stop you requested. Requested.
Requested.
Jesus.
Requested
Someone write that down. Requested. Someone write that down.
Put that in the box.
Someone spell that one. There you go. Give that one. There's your challenge for
Requested.
tonight.
Excuse me.
Required.
Yeah, exactly.
even race control was confused by that request.
Yeah, the request is definitely out there, but good luck spelling it and then repeating it. But as we see here, Hindi P1 has got a big gap now. Was 6 seconds, now up to almost 9. So
I'm
potentially,
Domakov doesn't like the rain.
yeah, I was gonna say potentially Hindi a little bit better in the rain. I know that him and Hignett spend a lot of time racing one another on practice sessions in their feathers, so he's probably got a very similar understanding in the wet as Hignett does. You know, that lovely rivalry between friends always definitely pushes and spurs us on to keep driving faster as we all
This
try.
just in. P7 is on wets, supposedly.
Oh,
Damp track, that's a good move.
So is Johnson going to win the race from P7?
how far down the list are we in
Don't
total?
know. I would be. If the track goes. That's a tough one. I think you have to go wet.
Well, it won't dry
No.
out. So.
Well, no, it won't. But it could go dry enough to damp, maybe even greasy
It's
after what we
quite
saw
windy
earlier.
too.
It is. So the weather's
On 5.
the weather's getting out pretty quickly.
It just kind of got very crossed up there through that little right-hander.
Spanner is firmly in the works. Oh, so crossed up through there too. It's going to be a dicey call for everyone. That's an absolute tip it in there from Luke Johnson.
Can we confirm race control? Is there wets on that car 19?
Gotta be. Look at the way he's driving.
Yeah, confirmed. Ooh,
So,
big bold strat.
Huge call here from Johnson. Call him the Big Johnson.
But I mean, he's a little bit behind Hingston, so
Damn track.
something. Yeah, damn track. I mean, it's a good move for wets, but is it going to pay off those that stick on the dries? I don't know. It's still continuing to rain. It's only light rain though. A bit of a slide there for Johnson, so his wets probably aren't quite up to temp. Wet run is going to fall off hugely. Yes, if it does dry out like it did before, they will be in a world of trouble.
I wonder what the pace difference is. I know that Johnson just did a 48 for his lap time, and it's probably now going to be a little bit more speedy, but I didn't quite see what the front runners were doing in terms of their pace. But be interesting to see what that crossover point is. I mean, surely the wets would be a little bit more potent at the moment, or you can just see the drive as he gets through the S's there. But that was also a blue flag, but it does seem very planted at the moment.
So confused by the conditions.
Yeah, I don't envy the drivers in these conditions.
This is where you just pick a strat and send it.
No.
Or we do the ultimate strat and do a Paddy Oliver strat and do 3 stops, potentially?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't recommend that. Don't recommend that one.
No, not a deal.
This is still wet weather at the moment. Not wet on track as of yet, though. So, is that going to be enough? It should start to calm, I reckon, in about 3 minutes or so. The weather should go away. Johnson still a fair way behind Hingston. Caught him 2 seconds that lap. It's still not going to be enough to do anything.
Not unless this goes real bad real fast, but I think the dry runners might still have the advantage at the moment. I know the heat would have gone out of the dries pretty quickly, but the fact they have been running them for quite some time would have not been the worst idea to just drive through the pain, as we all do. But to be definitely pushing on the barriers of each driver's skill to adapt to the dry running tyres and pressures to these tricky damp conditions that we are seeing here at Kyalami. Glad I'm not out there.
Yeah, this is pretty good running if most of these front guys are still on dries.
There's enough room there for a truck. Don't worry about it.
As Peach said, could fit a bus through there, so there is the bus.
There is the bus Hind at the moment, 8 seconds ahead of Strelnikov still. Rain has stopped. So now the drivers just need to keep pushing through. Are the wet runners in for a treat? Ooh, that was someone who wasn't in for a treat there. That's Julian Gray, yep. Or Victor Cook, one of the two, just judging by the paint scheme. This is Rashuti now. Maloney not far behind at all. There he is in the multi-patterned McLaren. They've got a blue flag between them. He's going to get out of the way, and does. What can be done here?
Yeah, this is just that interesting phase where you just don't know where this is going to play out. I mean, the drivers will possibly start coming back into it in these last few laps, but what have we got? Roughly, what, 5 laps remaining, give or take?
About that, yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be enough that Strato Johnson getting those wets are going to do anything too fantastic. I mean, looking at lap times, still running 48s, high 48s, low 49s. Versus, yeah, he's only about 8/10 quicker a lap, so I think the wets have done well for a window, but not going to do the job at the end of the day.
What kind of truck is that? What is...
A red one.
That's
red?
orange, firstly.
Definitely not red.
Well, couldn't remember. All right, I'm old and I'm tired.
Lovely.
There it is.
Oh,
An Ica.
the Ica. Well, you know, Johnson tried, and there's no harm in trying. It's not like they're going to lose. I think they were behind Hingston anyway, so it was worth a shot, I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, you do whatever you can if you're in your own little bubble. You play whatever strategy you can. And if that's wets, go for wets. They're probably going to start to heat up reasonably quickly, but go for it.
Oh, big cross up from Tom out exit of turn 2. I reckon it's turn 1. Everyone's going to hate me for it, but that is turn 2. But the gap...
men having trouble.
Yeah, oh, you can definitely tell the dry runners are having to get all crossed up in basically every corner, especially if they're getting a bit adventurous with the curb. Look at those steering inputs, just begging the car to grip up, clearly. Oh, just hand over fist everywhere here, just constantly switching back and forth between opposite blocks and trying to correct those little micro slides. But doing a absolutely big snap and correction there from Tom. Nice to see you can still keep that McLaren definitely pointing in the right direction. The gap is slowly coming down. It was close to 2 seconds, I think it was before Hobbs, if I'm not mistaken. Now just over 1.
Yep, definitely. They're wondering what Nissan has of Mike Crick if Honda has Julian Gray's nudes. It's a tough one.
Inappropriate.
No, Mullock said that, not me.
3 socks. How about just one sock? More inconvenient.
Sold his soul to Crossroad Demons for that GTR.
That'll happen.
Track's still damp. 5 minutes to go now. Hines 8 seconds ahead, lost about a second to Strelnikov. We'll see if that gap's come down further through the first sector. It was 8 seconds. Is it going to go down to 7? No, it stays exactly the same.
I'll tell you what,
As
though,
we talk.
these guys are doing a far better job than I could do with dries in these conditions, just saying.
I think you're underselling yourself here.
No, I don't think I am. I mean, I think I'm okay in the wet conditions, but I probably would have ended up in the wall by now because I get too adventurous with curbs.
Like the Ferrari's just like foot down, it go.
Add TC, foot to floor. Let's go.
Perfect.
Well, you used to love the Fez there, Hobbsy. Back, wait, this I'm not sure what you're driving in SRO at the moment, but
Fez.
Oh, Fez. Well, then yeah, you still love said Fez.
That's the whole reason I'm driving the Fez in the first place.
Be out enjoyer.
Yeah, I'm the pastor enjoyer. That's me. I haven't driven pretty much anything else on this patch 1.9 update as a whole, other than the Ferrari.
Pop tourist, pop tourist.
Yeah, mate, Bob Service.
Welcome to the club.
Yep. It's amazing. Whatever car I drive just seems to become the fastest car at some point.
Maybe do some BOP testing for SRO.
No, that's no.
Just going to put this out. The track
Yep.
has gone to greasy.
It has. So wet tyre drivers are crying right now.
But was there many that ducked in for those wet tyres? Do we know?
There's a few.
I know we're looking at
Can't give you a
Johnson
number.
there, but there was an insert amount of drivers here went to wet.
There's our one man.
Or two.
2, 3.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably 50-50 spread here, rough guess. But those wet runners are going to be starting to wish they didn't take them.
Mike Craig, yeah.
Big lock up and slide. And
Love
that
me a
is
good slide.
not having a fun time. Or it takes a bit of grass on
very
exit.
nice. Wow.
Oh dear.
Oh, that was letting P2 through as well. Oh, goes very wide. Oh, hit the brakes. Pull her up.
I don't know who's who in the zoo here. I think he's racing the Lamborghini. Yep.
Sure is. So, Hind come across the line for the second to last lap now, with just over 2 minutes to go. Currently leading Stromakov. Hacky looking for the slipstream from Crick. Crick's not going to let him have that in his fridge. Goes down to turn 1. Can't do a lot. It's going to jump on the brakes. Look to stick the nose in for a bit of pressure on Crick, but Crick just says no and keeps on going now. Through turn 2 to 3. Now coming up to Barbecue. This is a tough one. That's an interesting line there from Hacky, just trying to get that position from Crick. Needs to put all the pressure in the world on him if he wants to get any sort of results here reasonably fast. Down Sunset now, 1.5 minutes to go. Hind's halfway through the lap. Coming through Sunset, it was a bit of a tighter line. Just trying to keep up with Crick there. Coming down the sweeping left to the S's. Bit of grass there. What can be done? Crick just needs to put that car pretty much anywhere and he'll be safe.
Yeah, that Lamborghini definitely all over the rear bumper here of Cricky. Going left, darting right, trying to be everywhere and anywhere. Just trying to force that error as we all try and do when we're trying to set up an overtake. But also got to be careful because if he's not aware of like different braking zones or the braking speed or closing speeds, carrying extra speeds into these corners, especially in these tricky, greasy conditions, can unsettle the car.
Switchback time. Oh no,
Not
can't quite pull it. He was looking for it though.
It was definitely a chance. Oh, well, there's another chance as Cricky goes slightly onto the grass and around the outside of the last corner. Gets the job done and dusted. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. So final lap here. Here is Hines. Just come across the finish line, 7.2 ahead of Stronikov. So unfortunate there for Dennis having lost the lead with that tap penalty, 15 seconds. So Ferrari top 3 at the moment. Rashudi's not too far off Hignett, who is almost 20 seconds off the top 2 there. I mean, nice little split of driver class overall. You've got 5 pros in the top, and you've got 4 silvers. My OCD is loving that.
So Hind here. This is going to be their last lap down through the S's. Brad Cook putting some negative thoughts out there in the world, in the chat.
Connor's currently working out how to lose the race. Well, let's not lose the race.
Page is also just adding for the fuel to the fire there from Beach as well. Why are we all cursing Hindy for? Why?
Hindy, have you met Cheetah before?
Yeah, well, I've met Cheetah.
There's a car around? No.
Well,
Paddy's
Hindy's
seen
about
things.
to meet Cheetah for the 39th time this race and does it fine. Doesn't get any wide. This last corner, nice and easy.
No, that's a 40th.
Well in.
time. You got it wrong.
40th. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
GG.
Can't count.
GG, Hind. Well done, P1. Kept it nice and consistent. Just let Shronikov have to serve that penalty as the man himself comes across the line. For P2, unfortunate would have probably had the race, I dare say, wrapped up there had he not had that penalty. Hignett just getting stuck behind Victor Cook here. Going to come home for the final podium position. Victor Cook should get out of the way here and does. But it really matters.
Oh dear.
So we got Hignett crossing the line in P3, Rashuti P4, Tom Maloney P5, pro classes, and then the silver class drivers. Hingston taking out the lead and win for them. Johnson still cruising around on those really slidey, ballooned wet tyres, I dare say, at this point in time. Is currently sitting P2 in the silver class. Oh, that looked like it was going to be a nice power slide through Cheetah. But one final corner to go. Did a bold strategy, trying to get the wet tyres to fire up to close the gap. Unfortunately, didn't work out this time, but a solid P2 for silver class.
And Cicluna comes through Cheetah for the final time in the Bunnings Porsche for Matheny Westy Racing OR. And that's going to be the bottom step on the silver class. So well done, Daniel.
Yeah, wouldn't be complaining about that at all.
I like that livery. That's probably my favourite livery.
It's a very nice livery, nice and abstract, and probably not one
Splashy.
you'd see every day. You're splashy, yes.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Andrew
Descriptive
Whalen.
word, splashy.
GG.
Green light, go, go, go.
Well, that brings a split green for the week. Clearly, my phone goes off at the most inappropriate time.
Nice.
Gotta love it. But yeah, well done to Connor Hine there, getting the pro win, followed by oh my
Hello.
phone, my
Come
god,
on, mate.
mute the damn phone. P2, Dennis there, unfortunately getting that 15-second pen. He couldn't get the job done. Hignett taking the bottom step. P3, three Fezzes. There we go. Try to say that fast. Silver class, Hingston, followed by Johnson and Cicluna. Over to our pro-ams, we've got Thurkalini, then Danny and Goh taking the final step with Richardson, Satria, that's probably wrong, and Yusman
Smashed it.
in P3. So there's all four classes done and dusted, and more racing to come tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thanks for having me in the comment box, guys. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you guys about.
Thanks for
No
joining us,
worries.
Paddy. And yeah, tomorrow night, ladies and gents, same time, same place, same YouTube channel. We have our lovely Split Blue and Split Red to go.
Yeah, cannot wait for that. So can't wait for everyone to be joining us tomorrow here at Kyalami once again for this round of the Sprint Series. Make sure to stay tuned, and then we'll have Europe and North America to come later on. But from myself and Sean in the comms box, thank you, Malik, for the stream this evening. We will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.